All right, welcome to Tabletop Gaming with Juice. We are starting about a half hour later than we had originally planned, but it worked out perfect because we had technical difficulties getting everyone into the chat. So, with that, I'm hoping that we have a very fun game tonight. I'm here with some interesting characters and some awesome players, so I'm really looking forward to this. And welcome to the Iron Forest. With that, we're going to introduce everyone by themselves, anything they want to plug, starting with Andrew Knapp over here.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Juice. I'm Andrew Knapp. I go by SR2 Joker on YouTube. Been doing a lot of Star Wars stuff lately. Check that out. Check out the RPG Tabletop One-Shot group. Check out Brigade Con that's coming up later this month. I think I've expired all my plugs.
Yeah, good deal there. You know, it's been a long time since we've played together, Andrew. I mean, gosh, I can't even remember the last time.
Yeah, I think it was almost like a week, like half a week.
Yeah, like 3 days ago. All right, next up is Brian Walter.
Hey guys, so I'm Brian. I've never played a online game, don't do any YouTube or anything like that. I do, however, I'm a store organizer for a comic book shop for Adventure League that runs 4 different tables, each of 7 players. So we got that, built that up from 1 table with 3 players all the way up to this pretty successful event where they want us to actually branch out to a different night now for even more tables. So yeah, I thought about the YouTube stuff, but probably not in my market for right now. Who knows? That's it, though, for me.
Excellent. And Cody Lewis?
Well, hey, guys. My name is Cody, and I run a YouTube channel called Taking 20. And a couple of quick plugs. You guys might recognize me as that Roll20 guy, which I seem to get a lot. And that's because I have a really great series called the Roll20 Master Series up on my channel. So I basically teach you guys how to become masters at using Roll20, so that you can be more comfortable with the software and focus more on your games, and so you can game more online. So if you're interested in learning some more about that stuff, I would really encourage you guys to go check out that. And then one last quick one is I'm really excited because starting next Wednesday, which I think is the 5th, October the 5th, we are starting a brand new campaign for Storm King's Thunder, like everybody else is. So we'll be live streaming the game on Twitch if you guys want to come hang out with us there and have a good time. Or if you can't make 3-4 hour every single week, like a lot of people, we'll be kind of chopping it up and put some punchier highlights on YouTube. So go to the channel, subscribe, and come join us.
Awesome. And Chris Wilhelm?
Hey, I'm Chris. I run the channel Drop Dice on YouTube, and I've got the website as well, just above with the same name. I've been focusing lately a little bit more on doing some Oriental adventure type stuff, and I recently did a podcast, or rather a quick video with Tim from Tabletop Terrors, kind of talking about the nuances that go with running a non-standard fantasy campaign. So if you want to check that out, go check out his channel and subscribe to both of us while you're at it.
Awesome. And last but not least, Marquise.
What's up, everybody? I'm the bold and the beautiful stereotypical Strider, also known as Marquise Hardest on the Facebooks. I used to run a lot of games on my YouTube. I've taken a break for a while. I'm getting back into that. I actually have a game coming up Sunday I'll be running on there if you want to catch that. It's Oriental as well, Japanese flavored. Chris here from Drop Dice will be in it, and some other people, so it should be a fun time. Other than that, happy to have my first game with Juice here. We've been talking for quite a while, so excited to be here.
Excited to have you. So with that, I will lay down kind of the setting, and then we will get into character intros. All right. The town looks dreadful, with its murky wooden rooftops, gray walls, and scavenger birds that hover above. Lyneth has a chilling atmosphere. The main attraction is the iron statue of a tiefling that just showed up one day about 95 years ago. South of the city lies a large, sprawling iron forest. On the north side of the village lies the farms that keep the village food supplies stocked. There are aqueducts that run from the river that flows up into Two River Laketon. And there are the aqueducts that run straight down into the town of Lyneth and into the town square. With that, we will get into character intros. So first up, we'll start with Father Zev.
All right. You see this 6-foot-tall, massively, morbidly obese man in a brown robe that kind of resembles a Franciscan monk. He's got a really long walking stick that almost looks like a quarterstaff. And he's riding on the back of a cart being pulled by a donkey. And he's swatting it every now and then with this little like reed that he has, pulling in the center of the town up next to this large statue of the tiefling. And he sees like a couple of people squabbling, a couple of bums like rolling around in the filth. And he'll stop and stand up on the back of the cart and grab a tankard of this mead and hold it up and start proselytizing the word of his God, the God of life. And he says, "Look, people of this land, you do not need war, do not need wealth, need mead. Come, get some from back of cart. Do not cause trouble here. I trying to start new ministry, drunken ministry. Come, I have much mead." And he's trying to get people to come in and start drinking this shit, but he's having a little bit of a hard time at it. Maybe they're looking at him a little bit cross, like he's trying to take him for something. "I promise you, I am different than other holy men. I come here to get you drunk, make you enjoy the good parts of life. Come, partake in mead."
I love it. As this is happening, some of the bums do start to circle around you. With that, we'll cut to Tim.
All right, not Tim. Thim. Come on, get it right. Thim.
Tim, my bad.
Thim, he's just hanging out, enjoying the weather, looking up at the sky, whistling a dandy tune, feet up on a barrel, watches his father come in with some mules, just kind of whittling and whistling a good song. Just kind of enjoying everything. Just you can tell he's a relaxed kind of guy. Hearing the talk of mead and what kind of stuff, he does enjoy the drink, he won't lie. And he walks over, goes and buys a drink from the father, takes a swig and seems pretty impressed with it, just kind of nods and makes his way back to his whittlings pile.
Excellent. All right. And what is Bravilion doing?
So Bravilion is kind of this very well-dressed, kind of overly dressed, if you will, almost just, very finely in this fine fur coat and probably too many gold chains for most, very clean cut. And he's accompanying his king Vladimir, and he sees this Father Zev, and he looks over to Vladimir and he says, "Look at this man. I have no idea what god he is talking of, but I am very interested. Let's say we go get some of this healer's mead, if you will."
And what is Vladimir doing?
The former king, Mikhail Vladimir XII, has recently abdicated his throne, but he has kept the finery of his position, wearing a heavy fur coat of some sort of great beast. Probably those with a little bit more knowledge of nature would recognize it as the pelt of a dire wolf. And Vladimir will look over and he sees the father and he says, that is a traveling monk. Father," and he kind of snaps a couple times. "Father Zev, he visited my kingdom once. Though he stayed for quite some time, I should remember this better. Zev, that's what it was. Let us greet him."
Let's.
And then what is Howls at the Moon doing?
Howls at the Moon is out of place in this city, just as her name would imply that she is. Even if you just look at her, she's a short wood elf girl. You can tell that from the markings on her face and the ears that she has. And she's wearing, much like the king himself, a direwolf pelt. But the difference in quality and the difference in use is almost astronomical. It's what sets them apart. And she's stalking behind everyone in her pelt and in her tanned hides. And she's not saying anything. She's very quiet. She's not comfortable here. She's barefoot and she's walking on on stone for the first time, work stone, occasionally stepping in something too foul for her to really put a word to. And she keeps having to turn, and the whistle for her wolf gnaws on leg. to come to her because he keeps trying to eat every beggar, every rotten apple, and every turned over chamber pot that he sees. So she's kind of trailing behind the rest of them, doing her best to control her wolf and doing her best not to vomit at the disgusting sights around her.
Awesome. So you guys see that some of the bums who were kind of around the statue start to come up to Father Zeb with their hands out for mead. And as they do, how does Zeb react?
Zev, seeing that they're of a lowly socioeconomic status, having no money to pay, he'll simply dole it out and he'll say, "Ah, blessed are you because you have an appetite to drink. Take, take, consume, consume."
Thank you very much. And as he takes a drink, you see another guy just out of nowhere that none of you saw coming come up and hit the mead out of his hand. "What are you doing here? Get out of here. You're ruining my business." You guys would recognize this guy as Louis Tern for any of you who have been in the town for any more than a couple days. And he's actually the tavern owner of the Singing Fae Inn, which the building, much like others, is in rough shape and is just as boring as the others, except the sign is immaculate. And it's obviously very Fae-oriented, has some very swirly letters, and looks gorgeous. But the rest of the building looks awful.
My face will become like the visage of death itself, and I'll peer at this man as he knocks over the Holy Sacrament. "Do you know what you're doing, you fool? You spill the blood of my God." And my hand...
No business here.
"What know you of business, mortal man?" And I'll rise up, my girth shaking and almost pouring out of the robe, and I'll clutch that quarterstaff like a long oar, and I'll hold it back like I'm intending to crack him upside the head with it.
So this guy, he's no slouch. I mean, he's about 6'1". He's an older individual, but he is in really good shape. Must have been a farm boy or something in his youth. And he also is armed with a broom. So, and he looks like he's ready to throw down with Zev.
Can we step up and Bravilian just tries to kind of grab the back of the broom handle from Lewis and just kind of okay, friend, this has gotten out of hand. Lewis, please, nobody likes your tavern's mead anyways, okay? It's no good. Just please calm down.
What are you talking about? It's the best in town.
Of course it is, my friend. I make a joke.
He tries to push you back.
So hearing him say it's the best in town, I walk over and I say, "It was the best in town, but now that the father has arrived, it's been replaced. Just no one to step down, my friend."
Seeing that he's surrounded, he looks over at the former king.
Vladimir has remained kind of quiet throughout the whole thing, and he kind of, just as everybody else looks to him, he says, "To continue this argument in the street would be unsightly. Perhaps the father wished to spread his faith and was unaware that it impeded on your establishment, but it could possibly benefit your establishment to gain a finer product, could it not?"
Why, yes, but it would have to be finer first.
I'm sure the father would be more than willing to share the sacrament with you.
"King speaks wisdom. You should listen."
I'm no longer a king. My brother has taken my seat. I am just a traveler now.
This just shocked face. "You've lost the throne, Vladimir. What happened, my lad? It's been so long since I've seen you."
I had made some poor decisions, and I thought it in the best interest of my people to abdicate my throne to my brother. I believe that he will continue to serve the family line well.
"Of course, I bow to royal wisdom." And I'll cascade my fingers out and motion that I'd be willing to sell him a couple of the barrels.
Lewis tells you he has to try it first. I must try it first. And he grabs one of your cups and holds it out.
And I'll fence his arm with that quarterstaff. Like, I won't hit it like I'm trying to wound him, but I'm going to do it like I'm peering a blade, like a fleshy blade. And I'll push it away from the barrel, and I'll say, one does not steal the holy sacrament. One is given.
I'm holding it out. I'm asking.
Put
Let me
down
try
the
it.
liquid.
Oh, it's already got it in it? All right, so he sets it down. I'm willing to talk business, but you can't be serving free alcohol in the streets. It's not good for me.
The moment he sets it down, go ahead. I was going to say, the moment he sets it down, gnaws that leg, the wolf runs up and he just begins sniffing at the cup and starts licking out of it. And Howls of the Moon kneels beside him, dips a finger in, tastes it, makes a face, and slaps at the wolf, and they both kind of move away from it.
I see that you have finer taste.
And she looks at him when he says that and kind of looks to the king, hoping that he comes in because he's the social one. She doesn't like talking to people, so she just kind of moves further back. And the wolf moves closer to this dude who's like arguing with the father, and she's still looking for the king to do something.
So while all this is going on, if you people just kind of peer out the corner of your eyes, you guys see Thim just kind of looking intently at Mikhail and kind of mimicking his movements, his postures, and that kind of stuff. Just looking at him with extreme curiosity.
Vladimir speaks up again. I believe that our guide does not wish to dilute her mind from her tasks. Regardless of tastes, you should still consider the father's offer. He is free to sell or give away his fine wares as much as he wishes.
So Lewis, looking very frustrated, obviously outnumbered, just says, I'm obviously wasting my time here, and kind of shrugs you guys off and starts to walk away.
I lean over, just, that man, the worst meat I have ever had. But it is sort of bitter subject, pun fully intended.
Forgive me, Father. I seem to have failed to get your church any new tidings.
It is okay, Vladimir. You're a good boy. Always have been. And he'll lightly jostle your cheek with his like right chubby hand.
Pavilion will kind of nudge Vladimir, just like as kind of like leaning towards asking for an introduction.
Father, this is Bravilion. He is a traveler from a far country.
Ah, yes, Bravilion Nikolai Viko, follower of the great god Kelimvor. Pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure is mine. And he'll stick out his hand. You travel with good company.
Ah, yes, of course I do. None other than the best of company.
Who is girl? And he'll turn and look at the elf.
And the elf looks back at you, and she doesn't say anything for a minute, and then she looks over to the king, and she says, Nusadudu. And then she realizes you probably don't speak Elvis, so she then quickly translates, howls at the moon. And then she points to the wolf, he says, gnaws on leg.
This means something to you, king?
Her tribe uses longer names than what we would be more accustomed to. Howls at Moon is her name, and Gnaws on Leg is the wolf's name. While she does not speak common very clearly, she has proven herself to be a great asset. She led us through a haunted wood and ensured our safety.
Yes, plus her wolf will gnaw on leg. It is serious name.
So is Howls at Moon, we found out one night.
As he says it's a serious name, gnaws on leg then begins to gnaw on its own leg.
Then, of course, welcome to Sacrament. and he'll motion for you to take anything you want. So, what brings you here? I come to preach good word of Holy Spirit. Does not seem to be your cause.
No, not these days. I seek to earn redemption in my people's eyes. As I said, I have abdicated the throne. I have unfortunately put my people at a great risk, and I cannot return until I have gotten acceptance and forgiveness from all of my people. There's a man that has been rumored to be here. I am seeking him out and trying to find out what his purpose is. He may be connected with the crimes that I am associated with.
And of course, I am accompanying my King Vladimir, trying to let him know that not all gifts are as terrible as they may seem at first.
So Tim has been the outsider from this group, and he kind of casually walks up to Vladimir, even though he doesn't know him, and gently puts an arm like buddy around him, and he goes, well, you know, it's kind of funny you say you're waiting for a guy, because I've been sitting here waiting for a sign. Just this morning, I was stung by a bee, and here comes his father bringing nothing but mead. I think I'm meant to be with you guys.
Vladimir looks very stiff, like he's not accustomed to people touching him still. He just kind of looks over and reminds himself, I'm an adventurer now, I'm not a king, and he nods a few times and he says, the gods work in mysterious ways.
Pray tell, what is your name, or should we just call you? And I look over at the little girl, and I look back at them. Stung by bee?
If you must, I am Thim Donald Wheat Thresher, but I go by Thim by short. If you're looking over him, seeing that he's now a little bit closer, he's a handsome guy. But one of the things that kind of strikes out to you guys, he has the kind of markings like he has a badger mask on, and you can't quite tell if it's a tattoo or a sunburn.
Regardless of his company, I believe that the inn may be the best place to look for this individual. Unfortunately, Father Zev, you may have to cease the ceremonies until we are done conducting our investigation if I wish to get any further with it.
He'll hold up his hand and like make a sign like a spigot, and he'll say, I don't believe anything happens because of chance. You were brought here to me today, for I owed your father a great debt, and I think finally at last I can repay it.
If it is your will to honor my father, then I gladly accept your help.
And he'll bow his head and say, yes, for now sacrament shall end. I will join you. We are comrades now, huh? And he'll get down off of the wagon with a large thump, and like some dust will rise off the ground at the amazing impact of his weight. And he'll give you a little bit of an elbow Brazilian. Huh?
Comrade, my favorite word ever.
We'll get along good, you and I think.
There is no doubt. And he'll probably walk over and kind of help you pack up, whatever you have out, whatever barrels or whatever that you have out from your you said was I guess a donkey, a wagon.
Yep. Yeah, a donkey and like a basic cart.
Yeah, he'll assist. He'll basically help you out.
So you guys start to, I'm assuming all of you start to make your way over to the tavern. And as you get closer, you can see that the ground starts to look a little bit more uniform and nicer as you get closer to the tavern. And when you get over there, you can see that there's like a front step that wraps around of hard wood. And you're welcomed by the smell and aroma of roasted meats coming from within. as you push through the door, you can hear it creak open. It's a double door. And you can see a bartender. It's not Lewis. It's an elf who looks about the same age as Howl's at Moon, but a little bit more civilized, and wearing commoner clothing and a smock, and kind of waves you in and points over towards some of the tables. Where would you guys like to sit? It's pretty open right now. There's a couple people sitting up at the bar. There's about 3 tables. One of them is against a window, and the other 2 are kind of in the open. It's just a row of tables.
Tim takes the lead and just starts guiding the group, whether they care to follow him or not. He wraps his knuckle on the bar as he goes by and does the send around our way, and then smack dead center of the bar, or of the room.
Okay, so you sit at the second table, and the bartender starts pulling out some honey mead and some elven red wine, and you guys can clearly see the it's labeled, and brings both of them over to your table and gives you guys a few tankards and says, "Would you guys like any steak and potatoes, or maybe some beef chips?"
Vladimir will take a wine glass, and he'll kind of take a sniff of it real quick before he takes his first sip. And you can tell that he lets it sit in his mouth, and he almost licks his teeth, letting you know that it's not the kind of quality of wine that he's used to. It like clings to him, and he kind of like suppresses his dissatisfaction and then sets the glass down in front of him. Yes, the meat and potatoes smelled lovely from outside. I would be more than happy to sample that.
Excellent.
Hearing this, Tim quickly grabs you grabbed wine, right? He grabs a wine glass as well. He takes a drink, and while he first puts on this like impressed look, knowing that Vladimir did this unimpressed face, he kind of brings it down to like an unimpressed scowl as well. And he kind of I want meat, potatoes, and a salad, if you wouldn't mind, and some better wine.
Salad. I will see what I can do about the salad.
And the wine, better, I hope. Not this swill.
We only have that in the honey mead that is also right here. If you want.
All right, he slides it and grabs the mead back instead. Nah, probably not as good as yours, Father. But
It is not. I kid as I look at the elven girl.
Well, my name is Flairdrin, and I will be happy to help you guys if you need anything else.
Wait, Flairdrin, don't go anywhere yet. You skip me.
And me?
What would you guys like?
I taking vows of poverty, so I will have only 1.5 of your ration.
Pavilion just looks over at you, just like, why? And kind of just looks back at the elvish chick. Steak, potatoes, lots of potatoes. Plus, what do you eat? Steak and potatoes? As I look over at Howl's at Moon.
As you look at Howl's at Moon, you can see her looking at Nas at Leg, and Nas at Leg runs across the bar, grabs this plate of stick of potatoes from some random person's table, and brings it back as the person's yelling, and is able to start eating from it right there on the floor.
Apparently, they do. So we will buy that one as well.
If you could send that gentleman another meal as well, and our apologies.
Yes. I hate to do this, but can you please take the dog outside?
Neither Howl's at Moon or Nas at Leg responds to this request. They just keep eating the stick of potatoes from the ground.
You could always make them leave, but I doubt you will have much success, right? Right? And they kind of like elbows Ev.
What does it take To have dog eat inside.
Vladimir speaks in Elven. He says, you may want to ask her nicely.
If I give you a bowl of food for the dog, she's saying this in Elven, would you please be willing to take the dog outside?
It's not a dog.
I kind of try to help her out too. The wolf is probably much happier outside. Just think of all the fresh territory to mark.
And as he says that, she looks over to the elven witch and she says, I'm not a savage. With fine eating inside, the dog, not a dog, sorry, gnaws at leg, is very satisfied. And we will continue to sit here and enjoy our meal, she says, as she picks up like a glob of steak. It's like lying on some like pool of like mud by the floor in someone's boot print. And she starts chomping on it right there. We're totally fine.
Just please don't let it do that again. I can get fired.
She looks at Nas at leg and she starts rubbing his stomach and he just goes to his back because his fall is basically it's never a bad time for a belly rub. And as she's rubbing him on the stomach, she looks up to her and she says, "Rub his belly and he's okay." And she just keeps on eating.
Okay, but please keep it off the bar and out of everyone else's food. I need this job. There's no other job for me in town.
House of the Moon stops talking to her, seeing that this conversation is going nowhere.
Vadir, are you chaste?
I'm sorry?
Are you a virgin?
Yes?
Then perhaps you can join my order. Are you interested in being a nun?
Possibly.
The pay is worse, but there are upsides.
Maybe we can talk about it later.
I would like that very much.
Okay, sir, would you like anything? Steak and potatoes? She's talking to Vladimir.
Yes, steak and potatoes, if you would.
And with that, she thinks she's got everyone's order, and she says, "Anybody else need anything before I go and get everything?"
Apparently, the father will need a wheelbarrow for his balls as we leave, because they're huge.
I lean over. I pat Zev on the belly. No, he can carry them.
She walks. She turns away and goes and whips up your guys' food, which was pre-cooked. Which isn't uncommon in these taverns. And she brings it back and serves everyone their food. If you need anything, I'll be just behind the bar.
I'm sorry, could I get your name once more?
My name is Flairdrin.
Thank you, Flairdrin. We were looking to meet someone. We had heard that there was a man who had a regal bearing, almost perhaps maybe a mage. He wears a cloak with runes. Have you heard of him?
Ah, yes, he stands out from the crowd. He's been in here a couple times. He stays at the inn upstairs. You would be talking about Drake Lacroix. He has that anvil symbol around his neck.
Thank you. I will have to make my introduction later this evening when he returns.
Yes, yesterday. So you guys know, yesterday when he was here, he seemed to be on a crutch that he made himself. I don't know what happened. Looks like he may have suffered some kind of a wound.
Well, then he may be in luck. The father is quite an accomplished healer.
Oh, okay. I'm sure he would appreciate that. If I see him, I'll let him know.
Of course. Once she walks away, Vladimir will kind of look around the table, and he'll make kind of a hand signal to almost accent the point that he wears a sigil of a hammer, and look to the others to see if anybody has a clue.
That's what I was about to ask. Can I make a religion check maybe to see if I would recognize the sound of that, perhaps?
Yeah, you could do that.
14 plus 2, 16?
You believe you've heard rumors of characters wearing that, and some of the rumors have been that there's some crazy cult that has stolen from other religions and robbed temples.
The only thing that reminds me of is some weird cult that would rob clergymen, temples, shrines.
So you're saying we should drink the mead quick, then?
Well, as two of us here seem to be of some form of divine nature, I imagine if this is true, we may not get through our steak and potatoes. Who knows?
Or he may come to us with his own interest.
Perhaps it would be wise to keep on the ready. Only a few meads, okay?
But aren't the meads holy relics? So, I mean, the way to keep them safe is to get them in our stomach.
Well, they're certainly holy to me, right, Zev?
Indeed. If he tries to destroy Icon of Mead, Zev will destroy him.
Do me a favor, Thim. Roll a perception check.
Helps if I don't have it on mute. 21 total.
Oh, okay, yeah. You see a piece of paper lying on the ground. It looks like it's been ripped into a couple pieces. Underneath the table to the first table, so right next to you guys.
Does it look like anything? Does it have? Do I see writing on it? Does it just seem kind of like a piece of bar trash? Obviously, it sounds like it's kind of a little something.
Yeah, it's on parchment paper. It looks to be in some writing that would catch your eye.
So I'd say, you know,
So not bar trash.
how you say your dog is well behaved, but it got more trash over there. Will you go pick it up? Come on.
Howls at the moon will look at Thim like he's the craziest, most insane, rude person she's met, despite the fact she has mud and steak and potatoes all over her face. And then she looks to Vladimir almost incredulously, and she just points at Thim, waiting for Vladimir to say something.
Vladimir kind of exchanges almost the same look with you. Like he doesn't quite know what he can do at this point. Like, because if this was his court, he could simply have them thrown out. But he's just a common man now. So Vladimir's not really sure what to do either.
And then Howls at the Moon looks back to Thim, and she says in her best impersonation of the common tongue, and this is something that Vladimir used to say a lot, is, "Hey, please, eh?"
And as you guys are talking about this, you see a guy start coming down the stairs. Clump. Clump. As a crutch hits every step. And this robe that this guy is wearing is green with runic symbols along the trim. And clearly this is the guy you were just talking about. And he's looking around on the floor for something.
So as he's making his way down his stairs, I grudgingly grab that piece of trash, or at least I assume it's a piece of trash, that the dog has scattered around, and I just kind of lightly toss it on my plate, and then notice some sort of writing as it falls on the plate.
Yes. What languages do you speak?
I speak Druidic, Common, and Dwarvish.
So you actually have a hard time making out what it says. If anyone speaks the language I typed in, let me know.
Looks like somebody's working on some sort of pyramid scheme here. I can't quite figure it out, but...
So
Let
you
me
guys
see that. Let me see that.
I'll pass it over.
As soon as you hand it to me, no idea. just like place it on the table. No idea. Never seen that before in entire life.
Seeing you guys pass this paper around and not being real quiet about it, the man that you guys perceive as Drake yells, "Hey, wait, don't, give me that back. Don't play with that." And you guys notice it's actually 2 pieces of paper barely stuck together. And he kind of crutches his way over and reaches his hand out. Give me that, please. That's mine.
Vladimir will pick it up, and he'll say, "Forgive us. We found it on the floor," and he opens it up and looks at it. "We were unable to figure out what kind of writing this was. We were just attempting to see if it was of any value," and he'll pass it back.
Not a problem. And he takes it, gently, not like tugging it away, but very gently, realizing that you're, cooperating.
When Vladimir turns it, by the way, he makes sure and turns it in such a way that like everybody at the table gets a good look at it before he hands it over.
So he takes it back and says, I got this off the men who hurt me. And he kind of puts it down in his pouch.
Where did the bad men touch you?
He looks down at Zev and says, What?
While he's trying to figure it out, I'm just nonchalantly checking out his leg and got a 15 on medicine. I'm not trying to hey, let me fix that for you. Just trying to figure out if I know what happened. Obviously, he's wearing pants and whatnot, but
yeah. So you can see that one, it looks like maybe a trap had caught his leg, and not only that, but it looks like he also had some kind of a hack into his thigh from some kind of bladed weapon.
When he when he comes over, do we notice the anvil? And what does this? We're totally convinced this is the matching description of the gentleman we're here, Vladimir and I are all looking for and everything.
Yes, definitely. You can see he has a large warhammer also on his hip.
Now that I have a better visual on it, am I pretty convinced that this may be the cult that I thought it was originally?
Yes, the one you had heard about before, but don't know a whole lot about. Yep.
I stand up. I walk over. I put my hand around him. Brightdale, what is your name?
Drake.
Drake, come drink with us, please. Please, sit down, drink with us, please. Tell us where men touched you. We can get the doll. So I kind of put him in the chair that I was sitting in, and I kind of hover back a little bit. I stay standing kind of behind him, but I kind of like buddy with him. But when I go to sit him down, I kind of forcefully try to sit him down a little bit, and then just kind of hover back behind him. I've tensed up a little bit for anybody on the other side of the table.
Give me a persuasion check.
Okay.
With a little, actually, give me an intimidation check. How about that? That's a little better.
Intimidation?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Assist. So as he's kind of guiding him into the chair, Mikhail will introduce himself. I am Mikhail Vladimir, and then he kind of stops himself. Excuse me. Yes.
19.
I've heard of you.
19 plus 2 for 21 plus the assist.
He sits down, feeling outnumbered and not really wanting to scrap right now. And he turns, listening to Vladimir speak, and says, "Yes, I've heard of you. I know all about you."
We are traveling. As you are aware, my seat has been abdicated, so I am just a common man. It is my request of you to please fill me in a little bit of this land. I am new to it. I've heard of the Iron Forest before, but we haven't seen much or been here very long, and I've thought that a man who appears to be as scholarly as yourself might be able to inform us a little bit more of what we should expect here.
I mean, well, surely you know that the Iron Forest is larger than most nations. with the iron tree lying at the center, which most have never been able to get to. And so a lot believe it's just rumors. I can tell you that tree exists. And I can tell you right now that there are bigger problems than the golems of the Iron Forest.
Are the golems those that injured you? Forgive my allies. Father Zev is actually an accomplished healer and would be more than willing to look at your wound if you'd like.
I want to hear how he got those wounds first, because he reeks like a poacher.
Well,
that wound's clearly from a trap. That slash could be from a bear. Let's hear how we got these wounds before we offer to patch this guy up.
Of course, the father must know how the wounds were incurred.
Okay, so he kind of looks over at Thim and looks at Zev and says, well, first of all, I don't think I am comfortable with Zev getting close to my leg.
Well,
it seems questionable.
Says who?
Luckily, I know how to set a bone or two as well, if you're not a poaching prick.
He turns to Thim. I am not. The thing that brought me to these lands is the fact that we've had all sorts of things going on. Up in Two Rivers Laketon, there were strange creatures rising up out of the lake and attacking people. One of my comrades went there and saw that it was taken care of with some aid of some fine adventurers, such as yourselves. And here, we know that there have been demons and cultists found in the woods. I'm just here to help.
Do I know offhand if lesser restoration would restore his mobility?
Yes. It probably would not. Most of his wounds just look like surface wounds for the most part. It's like cuts and things like that. But the gash is pretty deep.
Okay, so then I would then opt to offer, I have a nice healing kit, I can patch you up, and I have the healer fee if just to kind of give it a little extra backbone.
If you would, that would be fantastic. I'll pay for your meal.
So that would be a whopping a D6 on the healer kit roll, so D4 or 4 on the roll, so 4 plus 4 would be what. I know he's at full health, but whatever kind of good job.
Yeah, no, you're able to do a pretty good job getting it, clean and stabilizing it so it won't get any worse. And he appreciates it. He thanks you and offers to pay for your meal. And most of his gestures when he's talking, he's very open and friendly with the group, except for Zev, who he seems to have some kind of issue with.
And Zev will just stare at him the entire time like he's trying to crush him with the weight of his eyes.
I lean over to Zev and just kind of whisper, I don't think he drinks.
Drake leans over to Vladimir and says, you didn't tell me you hang out with pedophiles.
I am unaware of what you mean. And
this one.
For those that have been paying attention, Vladimir originally staunchly refused the wine. Since the mention of demons, Vladimir has been hitting that glass.
Do we all hear this, or is this something said just to Vladimir? Or is this something
that was
to the table?
Vladimir, but you would have probably heard it because you're right next to him. And pretty much, I'm envisioning between Vladimir and Drake.
This man was in service to my father. I'm afraid you'll have to provide some sort of proof for your accusations.
And he sits back. He's like, I'm just kidding, Vladimir. You need to loosen up a little bit.
I don't like the way you look, friend. As I'm just staring at him across the table.
A Brazilian seeing this kind of tense up just goes, that's okay, neither does his mother, so not the problem. And then kind of like elbowing him, trying to get Drake to loosen up a little bit.
He turns to the female elf and says, in Elven, it's a pleasure to meet you. Traveling with some interesting folks here.
She looks up to him for a moment, and then she looks down at his leg and then back at him, and she says, "And Elvish, you're lying about the leg, aren't you?"
No. Why would I be lying about my leg? I mean, you can clearly see there were cuts.
And she moves closer, and as she moves closer, she's kind of like bow-legged as she's doing so, almost half crawling to him. And she leans in and she says, well, actually, she doesn't say anything. She sniffs his leg first, and then she looks back up to him and says, "That doesn't smell like a wound you really got the way you're saying you had it."
What do you mean?
And she looks over to the father, then back at you, and she says, completely changing the subject, "Why are you not talking to him?"
This one? And he points at Zev.
Yes.
He just strikes me as not who he seems.
And she looks at Vladimir moving away from him, and she says quite plainly in Elvish for him to hear, "I don't like him." And she goes back to Vladimir's side.
Drake turns and says, well, what I can tell you guys is there are demons and cultists. Many have seen them on the forest side. And I'm telling you, it's going to get worse. It's getting worse in all the surrounding cities. We have people in all of them investigating it.
So I'm speaking to Drake, but I'm looking at Vladimir, and I'm just kind of keeping an eye on him. Something just seems a little... I'm picking up a little bit that he seems a little bit irritated or timid, or just something about him's off. I'm picking that up. I don't know what's going on, but I'm asking, even though I'm looking at Vladimir. So you got these demons, you got these cultists. They're running around the forest, but I mean, are they attacking people? What's going on? I mean, I know it's never good when you hear the term cultists, but I mean, are they good guys? I mean, are they fun cultists? Do they celebrate with dryads? What's going on here? Fill us in.
They have a mark on their pendant of fire, and we believe that they worship demons, and that they're the reason the demons are here.
So what's your plan? I mean, demons aren't exactly fun things to be around, so you're trying to root them out, obviously, but
yes.
So
I will, in my short time here, I've only been here for a couple weeks, I've heard of people that have gone missing, and I believe they were sacrificed to open a portal, which would have brought the demons to this side from the other plane.
Well, that is obviously a big problem if that is real. What do you have? Witnesses? People that have survived some sort of attack from this? What can you tell us, friend?
Lewis knows all about it. Some of his best regulars.
Some of his best regulars...
Here at the bar. They have not been seen here for over a month.
Oh, they're not cultists. They disappeared.
Yes.
Okay.
They were adventurers.
I want to survey kind of Vladimir's tone and his body language. I mean, is he pretty tense at this moment?
Yeah, by now he's probably emptied the wine glass, and he's kind of wrapping his fingers at the base of the glass. You can tell that his shoulders are set back, and you've seen him in court. Usually when he becomes more irritated, he becomes more proper in the way he sits, and it's definitely coming up. Vladimir will kind of clear his throat and says, "You have piqued my interest."
And mine.
You guys will know that Drake is telling the truth, and some of the people in the bar have caught wind of the conversation and kind of have nodded in agreement. Zev, give me a perception check.
Can I just take my passive?
Yeah, what's your passive?
21.
What?
Yep. 4 wisdom, proficient in it, and observant.
Nice.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, so you
dominated.
Well, damn. Okay, well, you heard him talking shit earlier. You heard everything. And you also can hear some people at the bar mentioning that an adventuring party known as the instigators, has gone missing.
Vladimir will kind of continue as he goes. What is your group's interest? What, aside from the goodness of ridding this plane of demons, what is your interest in the forest? What brings you here? In this day and age, no one works for free.
Whatever artifact or artifacts they use to open a portal, that's all we ask. We want that. We want to destroy it.
And what is it exactly?
I don't know. I mean, there's only so many things that can do this in the world.
I'll kind of lean into Vladimir because I'm still kind of standing up behind these guys at the table and listening to this conversation, and I'll kind of lean into him and just put my hand on his shoulder and it's not so much that nobody can hear, but not blatantly loud for the whole place. My king, is this something that you think we should handle? And more importantly, is it something that you can handle?
Vladimir will kind of push forward the glass. He's idly just doing things with his hands at this point because he's just doesn't have anything else to do. And he says, yes, it is something we must do.
Then it is settled.
The king, and I'll stand up and say, oh, forgive me, Vladimir. I do not trust men who wear anvil around neck, but yet have hands finely manicured like a woman. Clearly never worked a hammer before in his life. How do we know he's telling the truth?
My father once told me as a child that all men lie. It's just a simple matter of figuring out which ones are lies and which ones are truths to provide them with the answers that they need. This man is clearly hiding something from us, but it's up to us to find out what it is. And until then, we can just use his information to benefit us. And Vladimir is completely blatant with what he's saying in front of this guy, not holding any of it back. As it stands, our goals are aligned. So I see no reason to doubt his intelligence or his facts that he has presented to us, especially when he kind of waves his hands across. Bar seems to agree.
Very well. Then my point in this mission is easy. I will be the skeptic, and I will constantly look out for his betrayal.
Drake looks down at his calloused, cut up, bruised, somewhat cracked and angled fingers and says, I don't understand what manticores have to do with hands, but whatever you're saying.
I remember hands like that, Drake.
I will take it.
When I was a 10-year-old girl.
He tells Vladimir, I know you're trying to improve your standing with your former people. Whatever you find, whatever glory comes with this, you can have it all. We want none.
For this, I don't need any. I wish to rid this world of another evil. If you are familiar with my people and our plight, then you understand why I must do this.
Why, yes. And he kind of...
We are in agreement.
He kind of shifts and pulls out a scroll pouch from the other side, or a scroll case, and opens it and lays it out on the table after moving some of the refills up, moves them out of the way, and lays this map down. He says, this is something I've been working on since I've come into town. Every reported demon and cultist, and it's a hand-drawn map that is very accurate. It shows every fine detail down to the aqueducts, and it's got marks for cultists and demons. And he says that it looks like there's a trending path in the forest, in a cone, and it kind of comes down to roughly a point in this area of the forest. It doesn't look very far. It looks like it's only a couple miles into the forest.
The moment he puts the map on the table, that's when, for the first time, really, House of the Moon gets somewhat serious. And she hops up top of the table, squatting, and she starts tracing the path with her index finger. She has a fantastic mind for maps, geography, landscapes, and landmarks. And as she's looking at the map, she's essentially memorizing it. And she looks over to Vladimir and she says, "I can lead you there." And then she looks over to Drake and looks back down to the map. And she starts pointing to random things and asking him what the name of these places are in his tongue. So that way she has some kind of frame of reference to know when she's communicating to the others when they're traveling.
So on top of this, I rolled a 23 on survival. I'm from this area. Is there anything I know I'm not, like anything I know basics about this area that it's going to?
Yeah, you would know roughly that this area is actually, so when you go into the woods, they're very thick, like trees every couple feet. There's not really a lot of set paths. Even though they've used they do lumber and everything here, they're still quite populated. And but there is a pattern to some of the trees because of how they've been cut down in previous generations. And so you would probably know, as well as Howls at Moon, how to navigate this area down in there. You would also know that there's some little springs in there, and there's a good chance that this area is at a natural spring.
Okay, so I kind of relay that information. I go, I'm not an expert on where this is going, but I do know there's some springs around there, and those are some good spots for some bases. I know a couple of hot springs that I can figure out and take you guys to if you really want. Well, not for the purpose of bathing in a hot spring, but for finding said cultists. And then bathing.
Since we just met them, and we've hired this guide, this awesome guide, can I make an insight check to see if them is like being truthful with us?
Oh, if Thim wants to lie, do an insight check on him, or if he just wants to tell you, I'm fine with that.
I mean, okay. Do I believe Thim? That's all I'm trying to figure out. Do I believe like he's on the up and up?
I'm being honest here, so I guess the lower you roll, the more you think I'm lying. I guess. Yeah.
No, that's cool. That's cool. I mean,
You want me to roll for it?
yeah, you just tell me
And then
what
I will tell you the number?
Yeah, you tell me what I think. How about that?
You're undecided. You're somewhere in the middle.
That's all I needed. Got it.
I will say, Thim doesn't look like much of a woodsman. His studded leather armor that he's wearing looks pretty brand new.
Question: how detailed is this map, Juice?
It's so everything outside of the forest is extremely detailed, like to the exact building, to the bushes, everything outside of it. Once you get into the woods, though, it's not as detailed. He's got a couple springs and a couple spots where there's a little bit of an opening between trees and stuff, but it's not very detailed in the woods.
All right, so what Howls at Moon is going to do, she's going to take out one of her arrows. It's a very simple-looking arrow, except for the head, of course. It's made of direwolf bone, since she uses the entire animal when she kills it. And she kind of takes the arrow by the head, and she starts tracing a bunch of the pathways of the streams. And all of these streams are kind of leading into the blank spot of the map. And she circles this one specific blank spot, and she says, "Here." And she looks over to Vladimir, and she says, in Elvish, "If they're hiding somewhere, they're going to hide here." And the reason she's pointing there, you can tell that from how the map looks, is a bit of like a rocky dole kind of indicated on there that the streams are kind of flowing through. So it seems like an area of natural protection and very secluded. And still pointing at it, she looks to the others, and she keeps saying in common, "Here, here."
Drake looks over at Howls at Moon and nods and says, This one's a bright one, Vladimir. I believe she's onto something."
I trust her judgment. If nothing else, that seems like a logical place that they would have had a camp previously, which will lead us to more clues. I will need some time to prepare. If you would allow me, I need at least an hour to prepare myself, of course.
Yes, You won't see me. I will be near, but you guys will not see me.
Drake, we thank you for your attendance to this meal and your information. Whatever the results that come out of it, you will assumably be the first to hear.
Excellent. Yeah, like I said, I will be near. I need to make sure that whatever opened this portal does not open any more portals in the future.
It was rare pleasure, Drake. Rare pleasure.
He turns to Zev and says, hey, later on, I will tithe to your church. Very well.
He'll slowly nod his head. Is yet to be seen.
He flips you a couple gold pieces. And then he as well walks up to his room using his crutch for stability.
Vladimir will get up from the table and he'll walk over to the hearth and take a seat over there, not thinking that he should pay for his food or anything. So the waitress is actually going to have to come up and say something to him. It's pretty clear that he's not used to that action. Once he sits down, he starts kind of this sing-song humming of some incantations, and for the next hour, he's going to be calling forth his Book of Shadows. Or sorry, his tome from the Pact of Tome, rather.
Okay. Flairdrin actually walks up to Bravilion and says, hey, are you guys going to pay for your food?
Yes, of course, I will pay, no problem. Will you please have, I'm going to assume that we're staying here actually at this inn. Will you please have someone go to our rooms and fetch our bags, please? Thank you. Please do that. Thank you so much. And I'll pull out, like before she even responds, just, okay, and then just throw a couple of gold pieces at her, which should more than cover the meal. Plus, How's at Moon's steak and potatoes as well. Plus, Nas at leg. Steak and potatoes.
I just raise an eye archly at Bravilion.
Yes, of course, no problem. And besides, this is really Vladimir's gold, anyways. And here you go. And I'll give her a third gold piece.
Thank you, thank you very much. And now I'll take care of the bags myself.
Wonderful.
She walks off very quickly, and she kind of pokes her head into the kitchen and shouts something. And when she comes back through, a big, bald guy that looks a lot like Zev comes through and just arms crossed. He looks a little bit more rough and just stands there and watches everything as she runs outside.
Howl's at the Moon is going to, with Nal's at leg, they're both going to go to Vladimir's side and essentially curl up together, since they both find his hymns when he's preparing whatever patron stuff he's doing extremely calming, actually, weirdly enough. And they're just going to kind of rock back and forth together and kind of prepare in the same way he does, where they basically go into their own version of like a trance, essentially, listening to his hymns the entire time.
Excellent.
Then he pulls out a bag of bones, shakes them, throws them on the table, and he's kind of looking over them. Anybody religious kind of gets that this is some old school, not really scientific bone reading going on here, which has been known to be pure mumbo jumbo. But Tim looks it up and goes, I see this is going to be a fortuitous journey. I'm going with you guys, whether you like it or not.
Of course, most welcome.
With
As
that,
long
he
as you
smiles
can-
and just puts his feet up on the next stool, starts whistling.
As long as you can take care of yourself, Thim. Death is not something to be afraid of, but nor is it something you should seek.
I'm not so worried about dying. You got some things that are kind of piquing my interest, and you know what? Vladimir over there's a curious fellow. I want to keep an eye on him.
Once the our ritual is complete, Vladimir will have a very overly worn, almost like pages are loose and falling out of it, kind of small tome. It's probably only about 25 pages long, and he runs his hand over the cover, and he looks almost sorrowful as he does it. He'll open the pages, verify that his writings are in there like they should be, and he kind of shakes his head, and he tucks it into one of his interior pockets.
Excellent. Anything else anybody wants to do in that hour of time?
I do think the father would probably ruminate, because when he said that he knew Vladimir's father, he suspected him of great heresy and dark arts. And when he said he owes him a favor, he hopes to change mind of son.
And Tim went to the place where he's staying. He's staying in a kind of like a hostel type deal, and he comes back with his shield, which has a stylized badger face, badger mask drawn on it, and a ashen walking stick.
Okay. So with that, let's take 5 minutes, bathroom, and get drinks and snacks or whatever, and then we'll come back and hopefully try and play the last hour and a half.
All right, perfect.
Having
Awesome.
a great time, man. We'll be back.
Good deal.
That moment when you realize that not everybody in the call needed to go on a break.
And as Andrew Knapp sits there, thinking to himself about the woes of his life, everyone else goes to take a potty break.
He solemnly contemplated pouring whiskey into an Arnold Palmer. He didn't know what it would taste like.
That sounds disgusting, and I'm glad you didn't do that.
So I saw at Marquise that you got Red and Pleasant Land and Vornheim recently. So, Ronray.
All right. Good deal.
Juice, I'm having a blast, man.
Good. I'm glad. I haven't done anything yet. I'm letting you guys do your thing.
I'm having a good time too for my first online game and first time playing in ages.
Good. I like hearing that.
No, we hope you're all having a horrible time. How dare you have fun?
Curse your ball-busting NPC.
Dude, no, you're the ball buster.
Curses upon
It doesn't matter what NPC I put out there. You just castrate them.
Father Zev tried to ply trade.
Andrew, I have to laugh so hard because I had this voice for Bravilion, and I took the Far Traveler. Like thinking like, cool, crazy out there voice, you know, maybe it'll be distant. And then like you came into the game with like the same voice. I was like, so let's just go with it, man. Let's just go with it.
Yeah, you kind of had close to Russian, and I was like, well, there goes my accent.
I know, and I see Vladimir, and I'm just thinking like, I'm not a Far Traveler. I'm
I was like, to keep the Far Traveler thing going, I was like, no, I'm not going to do an accent at all now.
you know, I suspected something like this might happen after the what was it, 2 games ago, the first game you ran, the Black Lake, when we were really rude to your anvil ringer. I was like, uh-oh, next time, man, he's gonna have this guy shooting lasers out of his eyes.
Yeah. I knew it, man. I was like, I wonder if he's gonna be a pain in the ass for all my NPCs again.
Yes, yes, he is.
Yep. I just gotta have some hard ass NPCs that show no mercy.
I love your criteria though for pain in the ass to the NPCs. Hello, sir. Might I repair that leg that's wounded? Keep him away from me. I hear he's a pedophile.
No, you were already getting crappy with the other NPCs.
I'm gonna plead the fifth on that. I'm gonna plead the fifth.
This is juice before the game. Okay, I got this really great NPC. How do I make Andrew like him? I'll call him a pedophile, like right off the bat. That'll just set the tone.
The picture of his character, like I was looking at it at that time. I'm like, he kind of looks like a pedophile.
Not all holy men. Not all holy men.
So is them coming across Odd Country bumpkin enough for everybody?
He sounds like a dick. It's not bad. He just sounds like a dick.
He's somewhat judgmental. Right there. I don't even.
And Howls at the Moon hates everybody except for Vladimir, it seems.
Yep.
Yeah, but she's gonna light people up.
Somewhat judgmental.
She likes Marvillian too, but they never really talk. She's just kind of there, but she's accepting of them. Father Vane, they're gonna. Sorry, Father Zev, they're gonna bond over the fact they both hate the NPC though.
Nothing like hate to bring two people together.
All right. So, yeah, I'm assuming you guys are wrapping up in the tavern. Drake, in that time that you guys were doing all your stuff, did come down, and he actually gave you guys each something, but basically it's inspiration. So use it when you want. It's like a crystal that you can break at any time, and it'll give you inspiration for that action or turn. He tells you it's magical and it'll boost you in any endeavor you try to do.
Gonna break out the Murder in Boulder's Gate D20 for the inspiration die. I think you have one of these, right?
I do. I have a couple. I don't have all the D20s.
There's 6 of them that Wizards gave out.
He grabs a tackle box. That's fine.
I only have 4 different ones. I don't know which ones. So I got the one with the skull.
Yep, Boulder's Gate. Yep.
I have the white one.
That was Crystal Shard.
Yep. I have the green and beige one.
This one here, that was one of the Crystal Staff ones. That was still a 4E.
Okay.
I think technically.
Yeah, that was before I moved to Grand Rapids. And actually all of them were from before I went to Grand Rapids. And then I got this one.
So I don't see that one. Hold on.
It's like gray with yellow.
That was, yep. So you're missing the 2 other D&DNext ones, which was the kind of Omega symbol.
Oh, yeah, that one I don't have.
And this one was...
Oh, that one's cool.
This was from the Mega Dungeon one, and I forget what the Omega symbol one was from. I think maybe the Omega symbol was from one of the game days or something like that.
Yeah, Rob has them. I know that because he was showing me one day.
Yeah, because Rob was still playing with us back then.
Yeah. I was like, man, I want those.
And then he stopped playing. Yeah, the blue one was from the Daggerford one, which the Daggerford one I think was actually the Mega Dungeon.
Oh, okay.
And it was so good. I loved when they used to send that stuff out, but Wizards doesn't do that anymore. It's like, here they make me report all these people that play each week, and then we're not going to send you a dick.
Yeah, and then the online stuff doesn't work for the points or whatever. That didn't work for the longest time. I don't know if it does now.
Well, and then they're like, oh, hey, here's all these factions, and we're going to give you these cool things to do with the factions in-game. And they never sent anything about the factions. And like whenever new players come up, oh, I picked this faction, I'm going to be this super cool. Well, guess what? Wizards does nothing with it, so it's up to your table DM to do something with it if they want.
I had some stuff when I ran encounters in Grand Rapids. Like you got the kit, right? With like the letters and everything?
No.
Then I think what happened is your store didn't request it.
We got the original when
With the folders and everything?
Was that?
With the folders and the
Yeah,
magic cards.
Yep, we got those. That was the last I got. I got from every other session after that, I didn't get anything.
I even have a poster that they gave me.
Oh.
Like a huge "We want you to play D&D" poster thing. Yeah. I haven't put it up yet, but anyways.
Drinking a delicious Grodzisky for any beer fans out there.
I'm drinking water because water is amazing.
Well. But Grodzisky's Polish smoked wheat beer. Delicious. Low ABV session beer, 3.5%.
Mine, 100% water.
Homemade and delicious.
Nice. Okay, so Drake gave you guys the stones, and he says, "Don't worry about me. I won't slow you down." And before you guys can react, he disappears.
Like he vanished, disappears?
Yes, like actually gone. Like you're staring right at him, and he disappears.
How's that the moon looks at Father Zev, and she's looking at him with a look like, yeah, that guy was fucking, he was fucking something. That's the look she's giving him.
Yeah, he nods and gives you the look. Oh yeah.
Shit, I was not expecting that. He should have warned someone.
How's that the moon then looks at Vladimir, giving him the same look, hoping that he's realized by now that he's literally just made like this like 4th or 5th contract like deal with the devil over here, and she's just staring at him like with daggers, just being like, well, here we go again.
Almost knowingly, Vladimir will say in Elven, he was human.
Last one was human too, and the one before that. And when they're human, they summon demons, as humans like to do. When they summon demons, people die, as you like to know.
What language is this going in, the demon summoning talk?
Elvish.
Elvish, okay.
Then Vladimir will actually take the stone that he was given and set it on the table. He's not taking it.
How's that the moon does the same thing?
Check my little inspiration box over here and go back to 0.
Yeah, same. If he's not taking it, she's not taking it with this demon summoning human dude.
I didn't want the fancy crystal anyway, and he'll throw it on the table.
Can I take their crystals?
I love that we're basically being like,
You
we don't
can.
want your inspiration.
They're physical items. You can take them.
Listen,
Only for yourself, though.
I will take off hands. No problem. I will hold. Demons do not scare me.
Yeah, Tim's not putting down his crystal either. He kind of looks at you guys like you're being a bunch of pretentious pricks.
I'm holding 4 of them, and I see Tim's holding 1. I just go. I kind of offer him. I offer him another one.
He grabs one, and this one will go with the cool blue one for you there.
Wonderful. Shall we set off? And I look over at How's That Moon.
So Thim has 2 of them, and Bravilian, you have 3.
I feel like we're going to regret this decision later.
You're definitely going to regret this decision later.
There's a couple things I'm going to do in this session that are not 5th edition written rules, by the way. So,
I mean, Juice, if you only want me to have 1 inspiration point, I mean, obviously, I don't care. I just thought it was funny.
No, they're physical items. They just grant you inspiration. I figured that's better than giving players inspiration. Because now you have a physical thing you can roleplay with.
Seeing as how I'm holding 3 of them, I think they were a great idea.
All right, so I was gonna say, if everybody's ready, then having memorized the map that Drake, the mysterious demon summoner, or in How the Moon's Mind demon summoner, gave them, she closes her eyes, and in her mind's eye, she recalls the map. And when she looks at the city in her head, she imagines the city not as a thing constructed by man, but more like an ant's nest with all its tunnels and its pathways inside of it, or maybe like a forest just filled with streams, with the roads being the streams. And kind of out tracing in her mind the quickest path to where they need to go, she will, without saying a word, and along with Nas her leg, they will both just kind of beeline out of the tavern and start following and start going down this very confusing, almost maze-like path of roads and alleyways and backway streets to the outer gate and then to the iron forest beyond.
I like that. So you guys get outside, and you would know Thim and as well as Howls at Moon that Zev's cart, there is no way in hell it would fit through this forest. You guys are going to be huffing it.
Do I know whether or not bow and like range weapons are going to be functional so I can warn people?
They would be very difficult in most areas.
Okay. So I kind of look people over and I say, look for anybody with a longbow at least and say, you know, you might want to switch up to something a bit more wieldy.
House of the Moon stops and she does have a longbow on it, and she looks at Thimdome and she says, "I know, miss." And she continues looking at the rest, waiting for them to come.
The father would just sit there looking longingly at the cart with like a Polish sad violin music playing in the background, and he would say, "I don't think maybe if we remove just a little of the mead, it would work."
The issue you would run into is the width of it and how unstable the going over tree roots and stuff would be.
His head and his shoulders just sink.
I'm sorry, my friend. We will have to leave it.
Whole harvest of sacrament. And hand goes up to his forehead.
Perhaps it will not be a long trip. Obviously, the elf does not miss.
You're right. And I have sworn that I will follow Vladimir. Okay. It will be a good day for bums. They can drink till they pass out. And I'll just leave all the booze right there in the cart.
Okay.
Perhaps if they get enough, they'll think it's a good idea to join the cloth.
You have been reading our handbook.
Yes, why do you never read my handbook? I gave it to you months ago.
Yours does not include casual consumption of alcohol.
I will have to pray to Kalimvor about that. Maybe he will make change. I doubt it.
During this time, Vladimir has been taking out 4 sections of like fine polished wood, and he opens up a bag at his waist and pulls out a smaller bag that's velveteen. And as he starts putting it together, you realize that he's putting together a rather ornate spear. Once he pulls the head off, you can see that it's a finely crafted steel spear that's been sectioned into 4 pieces so that he can hide it inside his cloak.
Sweet. Okay. So you guys know that trying to weave through some of these trees can at times be very difficult. You know, stepping over large roots every now and then and kind of zigzagging through trees. It's hard to move quickly. Knowing that the spot on the map that Howls at Moon had pointed out is only a few miles away, it's still probably going to take you up to an hour to get there, just because of the difficult terrain and things like that. Every now and then you pass by a spring, and you know there's some opening around the spring a little bit, but for the most part, it's been very jam-packed. I'm assuming Howls at Moon is kind of leading everybody.
Yep, since she has a natural explorer feature, when she leads them, she is ignoring most of the difficult terrain, and she can basically, how I imagine it is, like they would see her kind of like hopping and skipping and swinging from tree branches, and realizing they can't do that, she would then kind of retrace her steps, and she's still pointing out these very easy to tread paths for them because her and her group ignore the difficult terrain. So she's taking a lot of care, I should say, to kind of show them what route to step over, what kind of logs to go under, where to swing off of, and in Father Zev's case, since he's an old man, kind of where to kind of like squeeze pie through the trees and everything.
Okay, well said. So it won't take that long. But you are also, it is very dark because of the canopy of trees just blocking the sunlight out. In fact, every now and then the streams that you can actually see, it's more of just like a light reflection that catches your eye in the dark. And when you come up to a couple of these openings, some light does peek through, allowing you visibility. And vine crutches. And what I'm going to have you do for me, Marquise, is roll a perception check.
I got a 15.
15? Okay, so you see, you're not quite at your destination, but you can see some kind of humanoid figure sludging through these woods, every now and then occasionally tripping over the vines. And you've halted your friends, and you see this thing just kind of trip and get up very slowly and start walking again. It looks to be about 5 feet tall and about twice the width of Zev.
So seeing this figure, like you said, how's the moon's going to halt her party by kind of throwing up her hand like this to Vladimir, who will hopefully translate for the others. And she goes to her knee and gnaws that leg. It goes up beside her. And she kind of pulls the wolf over to him. And she whispers something in Elvish into its ear very, very as quietly as she can. And the wolf, following the command, is going to get very low along the ground and begin to basically try to stealth towards this figure and begin to follow it, watching him the whole time.
Give me a stealth check.
All right. So that's going to be that. That's only an 11.
So you start stealthing up there, or your dog does. And as it's doing it, this stench just hits the dog's nostrils. And like the dog just kind of and like tries to get in this smell out, and it keeps like making itself sneeze. Or I'm sorry, your wolf. And it keeps trying to sneeze and get this smell out of its nose. And this creature lets out this noise and starts charging at the dog or at the wolf. But this thing is very slow. It's running as fast as it can, and yet you just see this thing going flump, flump, flump. And you can hear the fat just bouncing off of itself. And then you see a couple more running, barely, because what's dark vision, 60 feet?
Yeah.
Okay, so you can see 3 others come into your range. What are you guys doing? And everyone roll initiative.
The number up top there, that's not my initiative. That's a survival roll. Total of 18. Do I recognize the noise at all? I was hoping that I'd get a description of the creature as well.
Do you have dark? You don't have dark vision.
No, I'm human.
You all can smell this stench, and it smells like death, like rancid, disgusting, rotting flesh. It's humanoid, about 5 feet tall, and very fat.
All right. Thin is going last, apparently, with a whopping 4. That's right. No dex bonus, baby.
Awesome. By the way, my roll was a nat 20, so I guess it's a good thing I wasted it on initiative. All right, so let me write this down.
That is the truth.
So I am first.
Oh, sure, DM. Yeah.
Cody is second, it looks like.
It's probably good the guy with less than point buy stats is going last, though.
What I'm going to have you do, Howls at Moon and his wolf will go on the same turn, just to keep it easier. So you can use your higher initiative roll for that if you'd like. Oh, I guess drop dice is second. Uh, 16 for Andrew. Sorry.
Hey. My dexterity is 14 as a cleric, okay?
Go 13 there. And Brian is last. Awesome. Okay. So with that, these things rush up to the wolf, who's probably stealthed a good 10, 15 feet in front of the group. And this thing that has now come much closer, I'm going to pull up a picture real quick, swipes down at the wolf. And it does it with 2 swipes. 16 on the first, 13 on the second, and yes. So do both of those hit? Does one of them hit?
1 hit.
Okay.
Now, is this all taking place over the ridge so we don't see it except for Howls?
Howell sees it. You guys were kind of stopped behind him, so you probably can't see it very well. You can see it. I'll say you can all see it as long as you can see in the dark. If you can't see in the dark, you can't see it, but you can certainly hear it. And you guys can tell it's probably a good 30 feet in front of you. And I got 8 damage to the wolf.
I will play that on my turn.
Okay. And next would be Vladimir.
All right. Hearing the noise, not really being able to see what it is, Vladimir kind of just crouches down, and he'll have the spear inside his left hand, and he'll fish into another pocket, and he pulls out a crystalline orb in the other. And you can, if you're close enough to kind of see around his cloak, you can see that there's some sort of swirling black mist inside of it. This is his arcane focus, and what I'd like to do is, because I know it's like a dim light situation, once I can see this thing, I want to ready an action to throw an Eldritch Blast.
Okay, you can do that. So basically, as long as you can see it from some kind of light source, you will then attack?
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Bravilion, you're up.
Okay, so this is too dark for us to actually see at the moment. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, you are in a situation where maybe every couple seconds you might be able to make out some kind of movement, but it's a little bit too dark in this area.
Okay. Well, if that's the case, then I will... can you give me an idea maybe of how far up Howls is? I mean, can I cast around her, or... Yeah,
I'll say you guys could finagle your way to get up there, or at least, yeah, you're real close. All of you are really close because you guys couldn't see, so you would have been within arm's length of each other.
Okay, then I will... okay, well then if that's the case, Bravilion will immediately reach down and pull out a dagger from his kind of double daggered belt that has 6 different daggers on it. And as he pulls one out, he will go facile, and he will cast light on it. And can I, with not making an attack like aimed throw, but can I cast and just kind of toss it closer that direction in one turn if I don't move?
Yeah, I'll allow it.
Cool. Then that's all I'm going to do. I'm going to kind of casually toss the dagger over where I think maybe the fray is happening.
Excellent. So give me a roll if it at disadvantage because it's dark.
Okay.
And if it's above we'll say a 10, it works.
The first 3 have been. I doubt this one is. 9. No, excuse me. 6 plus my 6 plus. I mean, 6 plus 4 if you're going to give me my proficiency in Dex mod.
Yeah.
10.
You're spot on then. You barely get it to where you want.
6, okay.
And so that lights up the area?
Yeah, I cast light on the dagger and threw it in the area that I'm helping everybody see a little better.
Excellent. I like it. All right. Then we will jump over to Father Zev.
When he tosses that blade, does it reveal any creatures?
Yes, I'm sorry. It does. So it reveals 4 zombie-looking, naked, fat bodies that are not zombies.
Nice.
There's something more scary about the look in their eyes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and throw my agonizing blast at him. When it hits, I also have the one that gives the ability to push back. So that's a 22 to hit and 12 points of damage. That's force. and I'll be pushing that thing 10 feet away. I'm going to be targeting whatever one's closest to the wolf to try and give the wolf a little bit of clearance.
Yes. So you definitely do. And you cause it to go tumbling over some roots backwards in between the other 3 that were behind it. And we are to Zev.
Now, I know you said they look a little different from normal zombies. Would it be reasonable for Zev to suspect that they're still undead?
Yes, it would look like it. There's yellow boils on their skin. They look like, in spots, there's bone that kind of is revealed under the skin. I'm pulling up a picture right now so that it's a better... Here we go. Share screen. There you go. So they look like that.
Okay. Well, I think
it kind of looks like one, but there's features that definitely make it not a zombie.
I'll risk it. I'll see what this does. So Zev will walk forward and take his quarterstaff and raise it in front of him, Gandalf style, and he'll say, "Flee before the glory of the God of life. Be gone, undead!" And I'll slam it into the ground, and I'll attempt to turn undead on him.
Okay.
So it's saving throw. If they're undead, it's wisdom saving throw 14 to anyone that can see me.
Wisdom 14. I'm inclined to say it doesn't work, but I just want to pull. Yeah, I don't think it's going to tell me. And if I can't find it in like 5 seconds, I'm just going to ignore it and say it didn't work. Yeah, I can't find it. So it just does not work. These things continue to barrel forward except for the one that was knocked back. And,
Life, God help us.
And we are to Howls at Moon and Gnaws on Leg.
So the first thing I assume Howls at Moon would realize is the sound of Gnaws at Leg, kind of like as dogs do when they're hurt, kind of basically whining from the impact of the blow. And she saw this gnarled, disgusting clawed hand kind of tear through the fur and into the muscle below. And the first thing Howls at Moon says is "Gwala" in Elvish, which is essentially the name of the wolf. And it looks back to her and is rushing back towards where she is, specifically to where Brevalian is. Because Brevalian, during their encounters and everything, through the few adventures they've had together, his ability to kind of set bones to mend wounds has always helped Howls at Moon. And as she's hoping it's going to help at Gnaws at Leg, she's also drawing forth from within her direwolf pelt these 2 very thin, sickle-like looking short swords. And she's rushing forward now, even as the light, the dagger of light goes flying past and illuminates everything. Even as that bolt of magic sends the demon the undead thing, flying back 10 feet. She's still kind of hurling herself in the fray, partially because she's angry now, and partially because she knows if she doesn't clear the path, they can't get to where they need to be, and her entire purpose for this party is to clear the path forward. So crossing the distance between her and this undead, fat-looking, disgusting thing, she's going to leap at it, kind of like how a wolf leaps at its prey. Both of the sickle-shaped swords, like basically canine-looking blades, bear down like this. The first one's going to catch in this thing's shoulder. The second one just barely misses, but it's enough to kind of hook behind its other shoulder. And she's going to wrench them both downwards as she deals the 8 points of damage to it from the short swords and lands in a crouch at its feet.
That was kick-ass. I like it. All right.
And all that leg is just over at Brevalian, hoping to get some heals over there.
Excellent. And we are to Thim.
All right. So there are 3 of these things encroaching and one that's hanging out on Nas, just to make sure I understand the situation right.
Yes, that is the situation.
Okay. Thim is going to grab his shield, bring it down, and say a couple words while swinging his staff up in the air. And staff kind of pulses for just a second. He walks up to the closest one, goes, "Well, here goes nothing," and tries to give it a good old crack. And so that is not going to be very high. That's going to be a whopping 11.
Not even close. So these things, even though they're big and pretty slow, somehow it just like your blow hits it, but the angle or something just kind of knocks it off. It's very shocking considering the fact that this thing looks like it's got rotting flesh. Any of you who have possibly even seen undead before, it's usually very easy to just cut right through them like butter. But this is pretty hardy.
Okay.
All right. We are back around, and they are going to move in on you. Two of them crash down on Thim. And so the first one claws at Thim and clearly misses. The next one, or the second strike from the same one claws for 7 points of damage, just taking a chunk out of your shoulder through your leather armor. The second two attacks from the other one that was attacking you, both will miss. And you can hear these things just huffing like they're gasping for air. Then the one that's with howls at Moon will take 2 swipes at her. One of them will clearly hit. The other one is a 16. Okay,
Yes.
so both will hit. 7 points from the first claw, and that one goes straight into your gut. And the second one comes up across your face for 7 points as well. And the last one will move forward to, I would say, I'm sorry, up towards Bravilion. And we are back around to Vladimir.
Okay. These things are kind of on my comrades. Vladimir is going to take the opportunity and he's going to kind of maintain some distance behind them. Seeing the ones going after the wolf, which is so far our only person, he's going to open with another bolt towards that thing. That is a 16 to hit.
Nope. So you miss.
Okay.
You swipe at it, and it actually dodges your attack.
Yeah, now that the light is out, you can actually see what's happening. Vladimir is essentially pulling the smoke with this orb. He's kind of traces a sigil in the air, and then that sigil is what blasts forward to hit them. These things are apparently too quick for him, or possibly just they're not affected by it.
Yes, they look very unaware, and somehow they tend to move in almost predictive ways, like they can read your mind somehow. And they just kind of know where your attacks are going.
Okay. I'm going to open up about 10 feet just so that if they get the bright idea to attack me, I've got some distance.
Yep. All right, Bravilion, you've got one main that has closed the distance. He's about 10 feet away from you.
So as I see this main, what I thought was undead creature, but obviously was unaffected by Father Zev, I quickly switching my gear from, oh my god, we can't see them, to, oh my god, it's undead, to, holy crap, that didn't work. And I'm hearing, I believe, Howls at Moon, who took some damage. I'm going to instinctively line up 3 of these creatures, these undead, these whatever they are. I'm not sure what they are. And as I grab onto my amulet with this little skeletal hands, I shout out, "Bray, Gayin!" And I cast Bane on all 3 of them. And then I, at the same time, am pulling out my scimitar, unable to attack, but getting prepared for this creature that's approaching me. And then that save will be Charisma, and that save will be DC 13.
And you cast it on 3 of them, you said?
Yeah, so I'll cast it on the one in front of me. I'll cast it at the one in front of Thim and the one in front of Howl's at Moon.
Okay. So here's what I like to do. I'll give you the option. Roll once for all three, or roll 3 individual times.
No, give me 3.
3? Okay.
Yeah, give me 3.
And what kind of save is that?
It's a charisma save, which I'm hoping they don't have because they're not undead.
I have a 16.
Damn.
So that one is probably the one on Thim. And then I have 2 fails.
Awesome. So whenever they're going to attack, and that's concentration 1 minute. So if I take damage, I gotta keep it. And whenever they make an attack roll, you roll a d4 after their roll and subtract it from the attack.
Oh, okay. You might have to remind me. So if you could help me keep track, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, not a problem. And so basically, as I cast it, this little green wave emits from like just kind of down from the chain, and it bounces down through the ground and bounces up and kind of covers and coats them in this wickedly green aura, if you will.
Awesome. That's really cool. All right, Father Zev.
As I see Howls of the Moon take these vicious attacks and start to back up, I feel her faith waver. The faith I know she doesn't quite have yet in my God, but she soon will. So I take both of my hands out and I'll approach, and creating like a bulwark of steadfastness, I'll put my hands on her back and hold her forward and say, "Do not worry, child, for now the God of the House of Light takes you into his hands. Be healed, let his spirit flow through you." And I heal you for 14 hit points because of my disciple life.
That's pretty badass. All right. We are actually 2 Howls at Moon. How do you react to this?
So Howl's at the Moon, those 2 swipes, they got her they basically, it reminded her of a time when she was hunting back before she met this party. And she missed her arrow, and the moose that she was trying to kill then rammed her with the horns. Back then, it broke 3 of her ribs and nearly disemboweled her, and this main demon achieved almost the same thing. She is bloody, she is on one knee, she is dropped one of the short swords, but then she feels the hands on her back. And though she doesn't quite understand what Father Zev is saying, she can feel this warmth spreading into the wounds. She can feel the ribs repairing themselves. She can feel the muscle re-knitting itself underneath the skin. And not turning back towards him, she simply goes down to a crouch. She lifts her knee from the ground, lowers to a squat, and she's going to split the blood from her mouth onto her sword, casting Hunter's Mark on it, and on the main demon she's facing. As she looks at the demon, she kind of hisses at it, or more like howls at it in a kind of odd elven way. And as she does so, that's when the green light from the Bane spell kind of floods up from the ground, from the soil and the roots. And as the main demon is kind of temporarily blinded by that, she strikes, leaping forward again, just as a wolf does. The sword, like a canine, is coming straight through into this thing's throat and tearing through its chest. As she does 8 damage from the sword strike and 4 from the spell, Hunter's Mark.
That is sweet. So 12 total?
Yeah, 12 total.
Awesome.
And for right now, I'm just going to have Gnarls on leg. I'm just going to roll him a hide check. And I got a 19 for that.
Oh, yeah. Easily hidden. All right. So then we are back around to Thim. You have 2 mains that almost have you flanked.
Yep. So can I get them both within a 15-foot cube?
Yes.
All right. So I shout to everybody, "Cover your ears, boys." And I let a loud thunderclap go out, and they both need to give me a Constitution save. And I'm bracing one of my gems to break it just in case I notice one of them about to resist.
And you said it's Constitution?
Yep.
16, so I'm sure I have to re-roll that, and the other one was 12.
12 will fail.
Oh, well, the one I re-rolled actually critted on the second roll.
Well,
so
I got rid of a crit for us, guys.
Use up those DM crits.
All right. So a whopping 6 damage. The one that that's lightning damage if it matters there, but the one that failed is pushed away 10 feet, and I got the other one still there with me.
Ooh. I gotta open my book again.
Or sorry, thunder damage, not lightning damage.
Oh, okay. Okay. Then you're good. All right. So then we are back to me. So the one gets pushed back. You said 15 feet, correct?
10 feet.
10 feet. Okay. That one I'll say is stunned. Can't really, because of their lack of mobility, it struggles to kind of push forward. Unable to get back within attacking range. The other one, however, is going to make 2 claw attacks, withstanding the thunderous wave that kind of forces it to lean forward to hold its position.
Oh, sorry. That one's also going to take 3 damage. I forgot to mention. Not that that's...
Oh, yep. Yep, that's okay. And so he swipes at you twice, and one of them is for a 15. Hits. All right, so then he gashes you, attacking your already open wound for 5 points of damage. And then the other one is going to, the one that is on Howls at the Moon, I'm rolling my d4 with it, attacks Howls at the Moon, and I rolled the wrong die. There we go. And he is going to roll a 17 after the d4 is subtracted. So that will take a chunk out of you. The other one will miss. And that's for 6 points. Once again, this one kind of comes across your face, leaving about 5 claw marks in your cheek. And the last one with the d4 is going to do 2 attacks at Bravilion. And I've got, okay, so that's 16 and 14.
Okay, so I have an armor class of 15, but I do have defensive duelist. So because I'm holding my scimitar, the armor class for the first attack would be 17.
Okay.
And the armor class using that, it does use my reaction. So and the attack for the second one, the armor class would be 15. So whatever order you had those in, 17 and then 15. Okay.
Yep. So I would miss. If you want to describe how you deflect.
Yeah, basically, as he's coming in, I see this kind of green wave go up him and think that it's coming, and he kind of gets in as I'm still trying to kind of ready myself, and at the last minute, I kind of cut my scimitar down, deflecting his hand and pushing it down, giving it kind of a slap on the wrist, and then as the second swipe comes in, I just duck it and step to the side.
Great. We are over to Vladimir.
Okay. Vladimir is going to take another 10 feet back just to kind of keep that space open between, but he's going to be throwing out a hex on the one that's closest to him, seeing that the party's kind of getting healed up and everything. He's trying to keep that distance so he can maintain the range.
Okay.
When he throws the hex, he ends up taking the orb and he squeezes it, and you can see it start to crack, and inside you see this eye. And the eye just looks at the creature, and it locks for just a second, and then the eye looks like it shatters inside there like it's glass. That would be the hex going off as a bonus. And then as my action, Vladimir will utter just the single word die. And what he's doing is Vicious Mockery.
Okay. And how does Vicious Mockery work?
It's a will save, which that's the save that I'll be targeting with hex. And it's a d4 psychic damage. Or if he fails the will save, which is 14, it's a d4 psychic damage and disadvantage on next attack roll.
I'm not even kidding. I rolled another crit. I know that's like 4 already, and
Is that with disadvantage though?
Oh no.
And -4.
Okay, so -1 because I rolled a 3 on the second die.
That is going to be 4 points of psychic damage and disadvantage on the next attack.
And which one was this?
That would be the one that is closest to me.
So I'll give you an option. There's one on Bravilion, there's 2 on Thim, and 1. Well, those are the 3 closest.
I will go with the one of the 2 that's on Thim.
Okay.
So one of them, remember, is like 10 feet away. So I got 1 immediate.
That's the one I'll do then.
Okay.
Because it doesn't look like these things have any sort of range capability.
And how many points again? I'm sorry.
4.
Okay. Awesome. And no, they don't have any ranged capability. They seem pretty stupid. Not really tacticians. They just kind of mutter around and attack the first thing they lock eyes on. All right. Now we're at Bravilion.
Okay, so Bravilion is going to, having just kind of ducked this thing, he is going to, with his other hand, rip out another dagger, and he is going to slash across this thing with his scimitar and follow it up with his dagger as he is fighting with two weapons.
Okay.
Okay, so, oh my gosh, these guys, I mean, I'm not kidding here. I'm really not kidding. I got a 16 and a 19 rolls, and I have a plus 4 and a plus 4 for the attacks. So
both hit.
So with the scimitar, as I go digging into him, I am going to kind of say, "You foul beast! I do not know where you came from, but I will take you back to the hell that you belong in." And I will just kind of scream out, "Kelinvor delivers justice!" And I will use my Channel Divinity, Touch of Death, which says when I hit a creature with a melee attack, I can use my Channel Divinity. I don't get it again. To deal extra necrotic damage. So that'll be a total of 11 added onto this. Then I have a d6 plus 2, 1, so 3, and the other one's a d4, excuse me. So 3, and no bonus on the offhand. 3, 6 plus 11, so 17 total.
So describe what this looks like. You drop it.
Okay, so yeah, I basically scream out that I was going to deliver this monstrosity back to the hell that it belongs in, as I go slashing across its throat, surprisingly, after having ducked it, and I drive my dagger up into its chest, and then just kind of hold it there, and then slide it back off. And as this burst of black energy kind of goes flowing out the back of the dagger.
Great. So there's like this yellow ooze that kind of just explodes up and all over you. And it's running down you almost like a snot.
Oh, shit.
Just dripping off of you. And Father Zev, what are you doing?
Seeing Howls at the Moon striking back and seeing her resolve restored, he will move over behind Themdonal and put his hand on Themdonal's shoulder and say, "Lord, this one is now marked for you. His meeting at the statue of the tiefling infidel was no accident. It is fate. He will be great prophet for the religion of life, the religion of peace. Heal him now." And I'll cast Cure Wounds on him, and that'll heal you for 13.
Tops me off to full.
And Howl's at the Moon.
So as Father Zev leaves, that's when I would imagine that this main demon's claw attack strikes in the face that you described earlier. And her head reels back real fast, but she looks back to it again with that resolve that's burning inside of her. And she reaches back with her right hand, and she kind of pulls over this hood that's attached to a red elven mask over her face. And the elven mask only has these 2 black holes for eyes. You can't see her face underneath it. And as she puts on what is basically her hunting mask, she crouches again, and she reaches down to her side. She picks up her second short sword, and kind of moving them back and forth. She strikes once, and the main demon kind of parries it with his claws. She strikes again, and it parries it again. And this time she backs up and she whistles. And as she whistles, Gnaw's leg kind of bursts from the underbrush, and he's going to bite the main demon's leg. Not enough to bite through the flesh and everything, but enough to distract it. The main turns around and it swipes at Gnaw's leg, and Gnaw's leg dodges back at the last second. And in that one moment of opportunity there, that's when Howls at Moon strikes, lurching forward, her sword going into the back of the main demon and then pulling back out just as quickly, attempting to sever something inside of it, something vital, dealing 18 points of damage.
Yeah, so describe what happens to the demon.
So as she does hit, I'm assuming it's dropping.
Yes.
So because of the blood she spat on her sword before, when she first cut this thing, she can actually trace the blood going through the body. That's a spell of her hunter's mark. And tracing that blood to its organs, she finds the one place, the most vital place in this creature's body, where if you cut through that, you essentially cut through its tether of life. And she strikes that one piece. And as she dips out just as quickly, the main demon, not realizing it's dead yet, just kind of slumps to the ground, attempts to get back up, and then his arm just give out as the rest of the body just kind of falls into the roots, where she then flips her sword over and stabs it into the back of its head to ensure that it's dead.
Yes, and you see as well, this pus just starts coming out of this thing's mouth. It's like a snotty, yellowish just pus that's just seeping down it all over the ground. And we are over to Thim.
All right. So how many do I have on me now? I have the one that's like 10 feet away still, right?
You have two that are not actually on you.
Oh, two that are actually not on me at all.
Yeah, they're now away a little bit.
Okay.
Within 10 feet still.
Still within 10 feet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm going to take a couple steps back, do my full 30 movement, and seeing that these guys are a bit tougher, I'm going to just whip out my sling and just kind of try to put some space between us and just peg them with some rocks.
Okay, go for it.
And let's see how sexy is my sling. Don't
Not
even
very. So you try to shoot your sling and it kind of bounces off some trees that got in the way.
It's all right. I'll take it.
And we're back around to them. And because they're so blood crazed and only locked on you, they come towards you, moving about 20 feet. But that is as far as they can move. So, Vladimir, you can see the backs of these two mains as they're chasing after Thim.
Okay. So real quick question, because I don't play casters much in 5th. When I use the hex spell, if my other spell criticals, the hex doesn't get multiplied or multiple dice, right?
It's all damage dice.
Yep, all damage dice.
Oh, well then I guess I get an extra 6 in here. So that kind of reveals what Vladimir is doing. Vladimir is going to go after the one that is closest to them with an Eldritch Blast, again doing the archaic runes and just kind of like pushing him forward towards the enemy. And this thing just hurls across and it screams with a fury that like none of his blasts have done so far. It was a 26 crit, and that's 32 points of damage.
Yeah, you can explain how this looks.
It's not even that, like, it for a second there, it's not even that, like, it looks like someone who observes will know that the bolt is what did him in, but what actually sees, what you can actually see from the casual observer view is the bolt looks like it knocks this creature back, and Thim just kind of reactionally just like whacks it real quick with the quarterstaff and the head crumples. So Thim thinks he's the one that did this thing in.
Nice.
And I say, that's how it's done, boys.
Awesome. Zev.
So there's one still standing?
Yes.
All right, time for me to attack. And I'll take the quarterstaff above my head and make a lame attempt at coming in behind him and whacking him.
Okay.
Oh, man.
I hope you crit.
And might hit him, 17.
You hit him, but it's pretty much bouncing right off of him.
Yeah, so I'll smack the quarterstaff on his back and say, take that, attacker of life. Go back to your damned portal land.
Awesome. How was it, Moon?
Bavilion got skipped.
Oh, my bad. You're right. It should have been him before Zeb, but that's okay. Bavilion.
No worries. No worries. My character is stunned from this yellow goo. Like, all of this like awesomeness and like the heat of the moment, and he just kind of has to like, and he looks up and sees House at the Moon, I guess, is still engaged, or did she killed hers, right? She like
Yeah,
Stab
yeah,
you to the back of the
kills
head.
it,
yeah.
Okay. So
There's one left.
There's
chasing
only one
Phil.
left. Okay, okay. So looking over and hearing Zev holler out okay, my turn to... Bravilion will drop his scimitar, pull out another dagger, holding both of his daggers, and throw 2 daggers at the remaining Bane. So I have a 4 and a 16 for a total of 20. So I have a 4 and a 20.
20 hits.
Just a D4. Not a lot of damage. 2. Those are the offhand.
All right. Appreciate the honesty. All right. So this dagger embeds in the shoulder blade of the back on this mane. And it catches its attention for sure. And it kind of stops running after Thim. Now we are at Howls at Moon.
You said it has an AC of 18, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I got 1 crit hit and 1 hit with Gnawls at leg. So basically what happens is quickly pulling the short sword out of the first dead main skull, she looks over and she sees the daggers go through the darkness and into the nether body of this other main, which now turns towards Bravilion. Knowing that A, she can't let him die because he's going to be healing Gnawls at leg after this, and B, that this thing has to die, she's going to charge at it and she's going to leap through the air, and Gnawls at leg is going to do the same. They kind of leap as a united front. They jump on its back essentially as one. Gnaws at leg, tearing with his claws and his fangs, and essentially Howls at Moon just letting her sword rise and fall into this thing's body again and again, moving the Hunter's Mark to it as she does so, doing a total of 13 damage from her and 12 damage from Gnaws at leg for a total of 25 total.
Yeah, you drop it.
So essentially this thing drops to the ground, almost completely torn to shreds, or it looks like it is. The many wounds the pair have left in this thing's back and head and arms.
Awesome. Yeah, it starts oozing, and as they all die, they kind of start, after a moment, start shriveling fairly quickly. What are you guys doing? They're all just lying here, dead.
Howls, how are you feeling?
And she looks at you quickly, and she lifts up her mask and says, "Not me, Nas." And she looks at the wolf, and she snaps her fingers for him to kind of limp over to you, still whining from the pain and now the adrenaline's fading from the wolf. And she's looking at you expectingly for you to heal him.
I look over at Father Zev and kind of covered in goo, and I kind of motion for him to help, maybe.
So, I see what you guys are doing, and first off, I pat you on the back, and I thank you for the healing in the midst of the moment there. However, now that we have some time to relax, I kind of tap my healer's kit and I say, "Let me bandage the wounds."
Please, quick, please.
So I do a lovely animal handling check with Nas. Get him.
Nas is very obedient. Now it basically listens to everything Hal says, and Hal's is just looking at him, kind of guiding him to you for you to work as you work.
So we'll get 6 hit points back. Not the greatest, but better than nothing.
And once you're done kind of working on Nas at leg, he's laying on his side, and Howl at the Moon approaches him cautiously, and she rubs his belly, because again, it's never a bad time for a belly wood for this wolf. And he kind of begins to pant, and they kind of like laugh like dogs do, his tongue lolling out. And she smiles, and she looks at you, and she says, "Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you." And she continues to rub Nas' belly, essentially.
Just don't tell anybody I healed a wolf.
Oh,
She doesn't-
please, do not be ashamed. I must apologize to them. I may have misjudged you at first. It is good company that you keep us in.
Thank you. I appreciate them as admitting of misjudgment. Some people are always a little judgmental. I can't be against that. I know I do it myself, but like I said, just keep the healing of the wolf to us. That doesn't need to get around. Is anybody else from the area?
No.
Okay, it doesn't matter then.
Well, I'm beat. I think I need to rest for at least a day. And he'll lean against the tree and plop down on his ass.
No time, no time. And with her short sword, she kind of draws up the path to where we're going again. And she looks to you to Vladimir. She says, "Not beast, not a dead, demon." And she says this time in Elvish to Vladimir, "As I told you, humans make demons."
You
She
guys
points to-
hear a noise coming from the direction where those main demons were kind of stumbling around. And you notice this, Howls. You actually see or you hear this noise coming from that direction.
Hearing the noise, Howl is she's going to rush to where the light-filled dagger was, and she's going to quickly start throwing foliage over it to kind of hide the light to make the darkness kind of come through again. And she turns and looks to the others of the darkness and says, "They know, or they ready, or they looking for these." And she points to the demons, and she says, "Shh, quiet, we go."
So this is a point where I'll point out some metagame stuff. When I did the thunderclap, did put out a loud boom for 300 feet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you guys hear the noise you all can hear right now sounds like from about 40 feet away from you.
Howls, that is not enemy, it sounds like. Do you hear that?
Trick. I go, I look, I return, or I howl. Yes?
Howling. We will check for howling. Please hurry.
Yes. And with that, she's going to try and stealth and move by herself towards where this location is. So do you want to roll the stealth check?
Yes.
Okay, I got a natural 20. Again, God, I'm on fire now. Natural 20 again. So, as
Nice.
quiet as the night itself, she stalks like the wolf that she is towards this sound.
You come up and you come around a tree, and you can see on the ground are cultists, and you believe they're cultists because they're wearing robes and they have these necklaces that have a pendant of fire, and about 6 of them are lying motionless, and then there's one who is holding his intestines into his body still and just looks like he's gonna bleed out any second now.
So, lowering her hunting mask back over her face, she sees this men who she essentially equates to being demon men in her native tongue. She sees the last one holding his intestines into his body, and she's going to silently, as she can, take out her longbow, knock an arrow, and fire it directly into this guy's throat.
Yep. Dead.
You're dead?
Nope. Dead.
All right. As he falls, she's not going to retrieve the arrow yet because she's still not sure if it's a trap or not. So kind of secreting her longbow away, she's going to follow her tracks back to where the party was, and she's going to say in Elvish or Vladimir, since it's too much for her to tell to everyone else in common, she's going to say, "I found a demon man. Found several of them. They were dying. There's one more with his intestines hanging out. I shot arrow through his throat." And she indicates for Vladimir to tell the rest.
House has found some of the cultists. She's dispatched one, but there's others. They all seem
All
to be,
dead.
Correction. They all seem to be dead.
Perhaps you could bring the cultist to us. You'll walk me to death, cruel taskmaster.
Did you think about questioning the one that was living?
And she looks at you and she says, stomach, pulled out body. No gonna talk.
Tim just shakes his head.
Well, you heard her. He was not clearly up for a good chat, so perhaps we should check it out.
Agreed.
I thought you were going to say that.
After you, my king.
And so she would lead you guys back there at Vladimir's behest.
To where the cultists are? Or
Yeah.
okay.
Once
Do you guys have a light source or
Should
I mean, we still have the dagger with light on it. It lasts like an hour, so
Okay.
I can give that to somebody, or I can carry it. Here, I will take this, and I sheathe it back in the thing so that the hilt is still emitting a light towards the front, but not very much more than that. Okay. And I could probably cover it with my coat if I needed to.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you come up on the cultists, and they're dead. They've been slashed. Clearly, you can tell it's from the main demons, basically just ripping them to shreds. And they basically have some daggers on them, a couple pouches. They might have some gold and some other personal belongings.
Careful, Hal says as she kind of prowls forward, and very gently she's going to rip the arrow from the dead man's throat and put it back into her quiver.
Vladimir's going to kind of go over the bodies, looking for spell components, things like that he can recover for his own use, but more to kind of give him an idea of the potency of these cultists. Could I do a knowledge arcana?
Yeah.
Okay.
Tim just doesn't seem excited that people are looking over these dead bodies. We know we're on a mission, but he still has some respect for the dead. So, and then as people are done searching, he kind of moves them off to the side into a pile with building up tinder underneath them.
Okay.
That was an 18 for the arcana.
Yes, you're able to find spell components. Pouches with dust and other various things in it that you could make out what they are.
They're similar power to myself, or less or more?
Less.
Okay.
Yeah, much less.
The good news is it seems these casters are not quite as experienced, and Vladimir's going to kind of look over some of the cheaper components, and he's just going to toss them aside because the focus works much better. Things like the powdered eye of newt and things like that are just like things that he uses regularly. He'll take those.
You, as you're searching through them before he lights them on fire, you looking for components, you do see what you thought was a spell book as well, but it was not. It was a summoning book, and it had rituals and how to summon specific demons. And there's a page missing.
Looking at the book, can I see if it's like a certain class of demons and things like that? Does it seem like the page that's missing would be associated with the main demon, or if it would be something else entirely?
No.
Let us know this.
Yes, the main demon page is still in it.
Okay.
But if you want to roll a history check, you
Sure.
may have a chance to figure out what page might be missing. You're going to have to roll really high, though.
22.
That's high enough. So you know that the page that is missing is the Baylor.
So did Vladimir let us know there's a page missing or no?
Well, Vladimir's kind of been standing by this fire as you're starting to bring it to tinder.
No fire yet. Just building it.
Oh, building it? Okay. So as you're kind of building it up, Vladimir kind of taps the book in his hand once he's closed it up, and he says, this may be beyond us, but with any luck, we can stop it still. They had a book of summoning instructions, and some of it true, some of it false, and some of it designed simply so the demons can capture those that are summoning it. But the page that's missing appears to be a Baylor.
Do we still have those papers from earlier, or did Derek take them?
You gave them back to Drake.
Okay, Drake. Yeah. Okay. I couldn't remember.
At least some truth came out of what Drake has told us.
And I mentioned as this pyre is complete that we are not lighting this until we can see it burn fully. So on our way back, we will light this pyre and send these men to where they belong.
Nice, Cody. I like that. You haven't encountered one tonight, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Sure.
All right.
Sure.
Kind of taps the book in his hand again, and he looks to Father Zev. I don't trust myself with this.
That is good, Vladimir. That is good. The sins of the father do not have to be the sins of the son.
Or any sins at all.
Unfortunately, it is a bit late for that, but I can at least save myself from gathering more blood on these hands. And he'll hand it to Zev. I believe it would be best in your care. When we light the bodies, we can dispose of it at the same time.
Yeah, Zev will pull like a cloth out of his backpack and like wrap the book in it so he doesn't touch it with his own hands. Very well, Lord. It shall be destroyed.
All right. So you guys are going to march forward then, or?
Yeah. Are we actually taking the time to light all these bodies up?
Not right now. It was going to be on the way back, he said.
Okay. I gotcha.
All right, so looking at Vladimir, she's kind of been like basically squatting underneath a tree, underneath some roots and some boughs and whatnot. And she looks at Vladimir once everyone's done like assembling the pyre, and she says, "Are we ready to go find more of these demon men?" And she's asking in Elvish.
Yes.
And so, sliding her mask back over her face, she's going to stand up and whistle for Nazat Leg, and together they're going to lead the party deeper into the forest down the path she's memorized towards the what she suspects the cultists to be holding up at.
Yes. So you guys travel forward. You're moving at normal pace, I'm assuming?
Yes, because I ignore difficult terrain, so yeah.
Okay. So you kind of get to a point where you can see some light coming through the trees. And it's like a blue light that kind of flickers in between all the trees. It's still quite a distance away.
Getting low, she stops the party again, and she turns and she kind of cautions them ahead a little bit to look at the blue light, and she says, "How approach? Fast like wolf, silent like wolf, vicious like wolf?"
Yes.
Okay.
I'm the only one that's maintained Elven with you, so yeah, that's pretty much going to be Vladimir's response. Actually, Vladimir will tell you something different. He'll say intelligent, like wolf.
And she's going to not touch the short swords, but again draw her longbow and knock an arrow. And she looks over at Thim, and she says, "You are magic, yes?"
A different type than your friends here, but yes.
Can you be silent?
With this, he kind of looks up, cracks his knuckles, puts down his shield, and starts to kind of groan in pain as he shifts into the form of a wolf.
And if you could see her face underneath the mask, there would be a smile wider than she's shown anyone at this party at any point in time. And she says, spirits love, yes, yes. And she moves back and she beckons for you to come with her. And she looks at the other three, she says, "Come, 20 pace behind, yes?" At the other three. And hopefully with Wolf Them at her side, basically she wants to stealth up closer to the blue light and find a vantage point for the spells and the sniping to begin.
Okay. So everybody who's moving forward will give me a stealth check. If you are in heavy armor, you're at disadvantage.
I got a 21.
And
my wolf got a 21.
Nice.
Nat 20 for Wolfdom, as I've been dubbed.
All right. So is anyone going to ruin it for them?
I mean, like, we're all moving forward, right?
Yeah, but I'm having basically she wants you guys to move like forward like 20 feet behind her.
Can I use my inspiration, please?
Yeah, you got a couple of those gems to break.
I pop one of the baubles. I step forward. I like crack a branch, and I'm just like, nope. I pull one of the baubles out and I start to like rub it, and 11 plus stealth. I'm so sorry. 11 plus 4, 15 after the inspiration point.
Okay.
I'm hoping you guys are loud enough so they go for everyone behind me and them don't, so that way we can just get them as they run past us.
Good deal. Would you get Zev?
Oh, I was gonna stay back, but
okay.
I mean, if Zev's given the opportunity to lag behind, he's gonna take it. It feels like he's gonna have a heart attack. So.
All right. Yeah, he's probably pretty tired from all this walking.
Gotta wait to let them open up 20 feet or so.
So you guys are going to have an opportunity. So I said earlier I kind of wanted to do something mechanically different than I've done before. And so one of the things I want to do is, for instance, Savage Worlds has like a quick combat rule thing that allows you to do some cinematic stuff. So what I'll do is I'll paint the scene of what you guys see. And whatever you guys want to do, if it's cast magic, attack with something or whatever, you're going to make one roll that's most appropriate, and depending on if you succeed or not, you can describe as crazy of a scene as you want, doing whatever the hell you want, kind of thing, within reason. I mean, you can't just say, oh, okay, everything's dead, game over, but you know what I'm saying. If you can do some pretty cool stuff if you want. And yeah, so anyways, so everyone is very quietly sneaking up, and Zev, seeing this, just looks over at a tree that looks very comfortable to sit on and props up on it, crosses his legs, and pulls out some of his mead as you guys continue to move forward. And you guys don't even notice that he's not even behind you because it's so quiet. And okay. And so when you come through the trees, you see this crackling electrical, like lightning bolt, like not lightning bolts, lightning that's just crackling, and it's basically a portal that's opened up to another world. And there's trees that have been just cut down and torn down and burned all over the place in this large opening. What you see in this large opening, though, is 4 pillars with globes on top of them, and a cultist at each one with their hands on these globes. Right now, coming through this portal are main demons, and some of them are dead on the ground. There's dead cultists on the ground, and there are also other main demons that keep coming out of this portal. So with that, I'm going to start with Howls at Moon first and ask you what you would like to do seeing these bodies of demons come out and these 4 cultists holding onto these pillars.
So you want me to go ahead and describe it cinematically or mechanically first?
Yes. So cinematically, and then based on that, we'll make a roll.
All right. So what Howls of the Moon does is as she gets close, she sees this disgusting, dastardly, unnatural sight unfolding below her, with the main demons pouring out of this weird, thrumming, vibrating blue portal. And she sees the dead mains and the dead cultists, and she sees what she knows instantaneously to be the 4 pillars of this ritual. Because even though she's not herself is not well versed in this kind of ritualistic magic, her people were before they were wiped out. And more importantly, Vladimir is. And she's learned from both her people and Vladimir what it looks like when you see essentially diabolism going on. So she draws forth a slender arrow from her quiver, and she calls over Nazat Leg, and she holds out the arrow, and he's going to sniff at the arrowhead and then lick it a few times as she whispers words in Elvish over it, and the head will begin to kind of vibrate with its own soft green light spreading down the arrow. She then motions with her chin for Nazat Leg to go around this entire, I guess it's more like a copse here in the middle of the forest, and he kind of goes around to the other side of it, and she's going to knock the arrow gently, pull it back all the way, take aim at one of the cultists, and then aim straight up and release the arrow. As she does so, the camera's going to follow the arrow all the way to its zenith, and once you can kind of see it go past the canopy into the night sky and you see the crescent of the silver moon, the wolf will begin to howl. And as it howls on the other side of the copse, everyone's going to be distracted. They're all going to look that way, thinking there's something over that way. And as they turn that direction, the arrow falls. And it's going to be enchanted with essentially what the elves used to call a strike of ensnarement, or a strike of 1,000 thorns, which is basically mechanically an ensnaring strike attached to the arrow. So again, as you saw on the side, I rolled the natural 20 for the attack roll, unless you want to roll something else. All right, so as the arrow falls, it hits one of the 4 cultists. He's looking still towards where the wolf is. It's going to pierce him directly in the crown of his head, come out the bottom of his jaw, and then vines explode from the dire wolf arrowhead that's tipping the arrow. And they're going to wrap around his body. They're going to go in his mouth, down his throat, out his chest, literally bursting out of him, distracting the other cultist, and hopefully throwing off their concentration enough to make the spell waver. That would end her turn.
Okay, cool. And before I tell everyone exactly what happens, I'm going to go through everyone. So next we will go over to Vladimir. So you just saw this arrow go up and drop down on this cultist.
Yeah, taking advantage of kind of the situation that he's created, Vladimir will... this one's kind of odd because my spell requires a save, not an attack roll.
Okay, so yeah, you'll just roll a Arcana then.
Okay.
Let's do it that way.
So just real quick to knock it out, the Arcana is going to be a 18. And what Vladimir is doing, he is enacting the sins of the father, which is a reflavored version of Crown of Madness. And he is going to target whoever appears to be leading these cultists. And he holds out his hand, and you can see like there's his bracer comes undone, and it forms the crown inside his hand, and then he grabs it and he holds it closer, and it starts to draw blood on his hand. And as he does, you can see it start to branch on the cultist until it looks like the cultist is wearing the crown that his father wore before he went mad. The cultist's eyes glow red, and the cultist just starts hurling his most powerful spell, which honestly is like an Eldritch Blast at the other ones because he's not a very potent caster.
Nice. I like it. All right, then we will go over to Bravilion. What are you doing?
Okay, so are there how far? I'm trying to figure out how far apart they kind of all are. Are they pretty close together?
No, so they're probably a good 30 feet apart.
Okay.
And in the center is this opening that goes from the ground right now to about 60 feet in the air, and it kind of opens like an eyelid, like a you know what I mean, and it goes up into the air like an oval.
Okay, so seeing kind of, I guess, coming over this little ridge here and seeing this down, seeing how's the moon react to shoot her arrow, I'll look over at my king Vladimir and kind of give him a salute. And as I see everybody kind of go into action, I will grab onto my golden chained necklace of Kellamvor's scale of skeletal hands and kind of softly pray to myself, be with me, as I hold out my hands and pronounce loudly, Infilin Blaus, as I target the probably the nearest cultist here, and this gray bluish skeletal hand just kind of appears in front of my hand, and then just kind of like your eye can't keep up with something that's moving so fast, appears next to us as it grabs on, and I cast Inflict Wounds, basically, which is a melee spell attack, which I would be happy to roll. I get +5 to this. 14 +5, so 19.
Okay, awesome.
And I just, this black, as this hand just grabs onto this cultist, it wraps around kind of the side of its head and tries to rip it backwards, and this just horrendous, just disparaging black aura emanates all up and down this cultist through his face.
Awesome. So right now you guys have done something to each three of the four cultists. Okay, so next up is Thim.
So Tim is still in this wolf form, and he's looking for the weakest link of these four pillars. And when he believes he identified it, he just charges at him full tilt, leaps up, and goes for the throat. But instead of ripping out the throat like you'd expect a wolf to do, instead I just slowly choke it out, but not to the point of death, just to the point of unconsciousness.
Awesome. Yeah, make a attack roll for me.
All right. I'm going to use my other inspiration because that was a nat 1.
Yeah.
We're going to go away from that die, and let's grab one from up top. 14, 18 total.
Nice. Okay. Good deal. And next up is Zev. What are you doing back at the tree?
Oh, sorry, I was muted there. You'll see him pull like a little stone out of his pocket with a light on it and set it down. And he'll take a couple gulps from his mead. It's good to take a load off. And he'll twiddle his fingers for a second, trying to find something to pass the time. You know, no, it really shouldn't. But then again, perhaps that should. And he'll pull into his back and take the book out and lay it in his lap. And he'll twiddle his fingers again and look down at it folded in cloth and say, perhaps read just a little bit. And I'll start unfolding it and open up the book and start paging through it, wetting my finger as I read the strange words and look at the strange diagrams.
Now, are you reading them out loud?
I think I come to a specific page that looks rather menacing, and I'm having a hard time deciphering it. So I do read it aloud. It's like, Klatu, Vorata, Nikto. No, that does not sound right.
Roll an Arcana.
Okay. Yes, and -1. So 8.
That's good. That means you did not read the words correctly. Okay. So with that said, we have an arrow that was shot up into the sky and comes down, barreling into the top of the one cultist, pinning through his head into this orb, shattering it into a million pieces, and a flow of energy bursts out towards all the other cultists. We have another crown of thorns on this other cultist's head, just causing blood and just nastiness to flow down this guy's head on top of the orb, but the orb still stands. You have another cultist get bit in the throat and choked out. And Bravilion, I'm sorry, I totally forgot what you did.
I cast inflict wounds.
That's right.
Yeah, so 3d10 or whatever, which is crazy for level 1.
Yeah, you don't have to roll that. So you see the final cultist who was not attacked just start writhing in pain and until he goes motionless on the ground, and that tower still stands. So one of the 4 pillars has exploded, releasing an energy, and you see that this portal significantly closes, but still holds open. And you see the mains continue to flow out. And you have about 10 that are now out of this portal. And with that, we'll roll initiative.
Guess who's not going last with a 12?
Guys, yeah, I swear, if you want me to start rolling in the thing, I can, because I just rolled another 17, so.
No, you're fine.
Where's my initiative? Okay, there we go.
All right. I will probably be going last unless somebody has a 1.
Well, that's good. I thought I was going to end up last.
Father Zev is reading a book, so he's got a 3, so that might be last.
Yeah, pretty much. And you guys, I was gonna say if he rolled like a 15 or greater, I was gonna randomly roll for whatever comes out of the portal next. So you're lucky he rolled poorly and did not recite it correctly.
On the bright side, it couldn't have been a Baylor.
Maybe it could have been 2 of them.
That page missing. They can't do that.
There you go.
Okay, first up will be, it looks like Bravilion, by the way.
I will hold. I'll delay for the moment.
Okay, who would that make second? Brian?
So how grouped are these mains?
They're very close. In fact, they're only a few feet away from, they're on top of bodies just outside of this portal. And they're a good 40 feet. Well, from you, they're within 20 feet probably.
But within each other is what I'm looking at.
Oh, they're really close.
So I revert back to my human form. I take a couple quick steps back, put my maximum 30 feet between them, and then I shout to everybody, hey, we're going to make this much easier. And I cast Fairy Fire. And these all start lighting up with just blue outlines.
Yes.
So that's a save of 13 dex.
Awesome.
Then I can hit a 20-foot cube.
So I have to roll for all of them? I forgot what I said. 10, right? That came out of there. I believe I did. Okay, so 2 make it. What do they have to beat?
13. Nothing too great. Like I said, my son had worse rolls.
4 made it. 5 of 6 made it. 6 of 8 made it. And 6 of 10 made it.
Okay, 40% considering I had a 13 for the. I'll take it.
6 of 10, and that's like, what is the spell again? I'm sorry.
We get advantage on any of them that are glowing, and they can't be turned invisible.
Okay. Awesome.
All right, I'd like to go after Brian if you'll let me.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay, so seeing these things light up, immediately realizing what he can do, Bravilion will reach out and chant Isile Tokov, and he will cast, I guess, at advantage, right, Brian?
Yes.
Okay, at advantage. I'm going to pick 2 of them that are lit up, and I'm going to cast Chill Touch, and I'm going to do it at advantage, and because I am the Death Domain, I get the Reaper ability, which lets me target 2 creatures with a necromancy spell within 5 feet of each other. So hopefully I can target 2 of them.
Yep.
At advantage. So the first one is, oh my gosh, a 13 after advantage. And then the second one is an 18.
All hit.
Oh, okay. So we have a D8 and a D8, I believe. So we have a 5 and a 1. Necrotic damage. As this kind of ghostly hand appears in front and just lashes on to these 2 glowing veins.
Okay. Sorry, let me write down all these hit points and do a good job of keeping track for you.
And if for some reason they can regain hit points, they cannot regain hit points until the start of my next turn.
Okay. All right. You said 5 and 1, correct?
5 and 1, that is correct.
Okay. All right. Next up is going to be Howls at the Moon.
Howls at the Moon, seeing this spell kind of brush over the main, she sees swords and light up. An idea comes to her mind. Having already fought these things once, she's seen that their intelligence is, for lack of a better term, quite lacking. And so she goes down to her stomach on the ground, and she begins to whisper in Elvish, this long poem, this to the ground itself. As she does so, the temperature everywhere begins to drop, and then rising from the ground inside of the copse that we're all staring into is this deep fog, this beautiful mist. As she casts fog cloud on the center of the gate, everything around the gate for 20 feet is now covered in this obscuring fog, meaning that really the only things we can see are the 3 light orbs, who I assume are too bright, who are very bright so you can kind of see them almost clearly, and the lit up mains who are kind of wandering through this fog. What she's hoping is that the mains actually attack the lights before they ever attack anyone else. But even if they don't, having done that, she shouts another elvish word out into the air. And as she does so, Nalzet is going to rush through the fog, and is going to go for one of the 3 remaining glowing lights and try to grab it in his jaws and break it.
Yeah, so it's going to clamp onto the orb, you said?
Yes, in the midst of all the fog and everything. Basically, what the fog is just obscures everything, and it's obscuring rules work in 5e.
Okay, roll to strike.
Yep. Where's my
I like
D20? I lost my D. Oh, there it is. Okay, that's a. No, that's a fog. Never mind, I won't ask for advantage. That's a natural 1, so that does not work out well.
Yeah, nope. It probably hurts more on the jaws than it does on the orb.
So I imagine Nalzet, who is used to gnawing on legs, is not used to gnawing on powerful, ancient, magical relics. So he's kind of holding it in his jaws, just trying to eat away at it, but it's not doing much.
Awesome. Yep, that is correct. Oh, whoops, I wrote the wrong number. That's okay. Vladimir.
So the Crown of Madness person is still up. What Vladimir's going to do is he's going to kind of run his hand over the orb, which he's holding in his left, and now he's like twisting the spell with his right, still with this like miniature iron crown inside his palm, and it rakes along the orb, leaving these gouges, and you can hear kind of this scratching sound as he's clearly messing up his arcane focus doing this spell. And Vladimir's going to twist him to where he turns on his allies, and he's going to go after the other caster that's still on that one pillar that's up, and he's going to attempt to attack. At the end of the turn, after he resolves his attack, he'll get another chance to save against it, which is
so the
14.
So the cultist is going to attack?
Yes.
The orb?
No, the cultist should attack. Actually, I don't know that I can attack an orb. Let's see. Melee attack against a creature other than itself. So I'll be attacking the other cultist that's trying to use that orb.
Okay. So he will draw his dagger, and he will go and attack the other cultist. And I'll roll for it. And he will shank him,
Nice.
and causing that cultist to drop.
Perfect. That's going to be the end of Vladimir's turn because he's just going to maintain concentration on the spell.
All right. And so he's still got this crown of madness, correct? On
Yes.
his head?
At the end of each of his turns, he can make a wisdom save against it, which is going to be DC 14.
Okay. Now I'm assuming that was that the one that was previously choked out by the wolf, or was it the other one?
No, that would be the one that during the beginning phase, he was the one that was kind of leading everything. That's
Okay.
the one that I put the Crown of Madness on, and he should have been unharmed because the arrows and the wolf went in towards a different cultist.
Okay. All right. With that, it is. I think that's my turn. Yep. I don't think I missed anybody.
Zev is on 3.
Oh, okay. What's Zev doing?
Zev is still thumbing through the book inquisitively, and he comes to that teared page section, and he looks down at it, and he gets a little bit of a grin on his face and says, "I wonder, 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 wonder." And he's going to hold up his left hand, and I want to cast Mending on the tears in the page.
Oh, no. Would it cause a whole page to come back, or do you need both parts? This is kind of...
Let me read what it says exactly.
Yes.
The spell repairs a single break or tear an object you touch, such as broken chain link, 2 has a broken key, a torn cloak, or a leaking water skin. As long as the break or tear is no larger than 1 foot in any dimension, you mend it, leaving no trace of the former damage. The spell can physically repair a magic item or construct, but the spell can't restore magic to such an object.
Okay. So the page forms again, and that's your action this turn, correct?
Yep, and my eyes will just like widen as I look at it.
Yeah.
The priest was the least evil thing I can do with it.
Oh my goodness, what are we doing? All right. So it's my turn. And so this portal has closed. Originally it was about 50 feet, and you see these orbs start channeling electricity through the mains that are in front of you. And the mains start dropping. Before they start dropping, though, this portal shrinks to about 20 feet. Once they start sucking the energy out of these mains, it once again opens up wider to be about 35 feet. And you guys, all of you who are near the pillars or within 10 feet of it, can feel a heat. Okay? So, with that, and that's pretty much everyone, isn't it? Who's not near the pillars?
I am not.
I'm not.
I know
I'm-
Zev isn't.
I'm not.
How's that moon would be hidden quite a distance away, but Nas that leg would be very close because he's literally trying to eat one of them.
Yep, I cast my spell, then I backed away my maximum distance.
Yeah, I mean, my stuff's like 120 feet, so like I would say I'm probably 40, 50 feet away easy.
So right now it's only the dog or the wolf.
Poor Nas that leg, yes.
All right.
Your dog's about to become a guardian of hell.
There's no doubt.
All right. So the dog, the wolf, gets to roll. Actually, it doesn't. Sorry, give me 1 second.
While you do that, I'm going to watch a serious cat action going on in Vladimir's channel.
I'm going to roll to hit it. Yeah, no way. You won't believe it, so I'll just re-roll it. All right.
Remember, no, wait. Remember, it's in a fog cloud, so if it's an actual attack, it's disadvantage.
There you go. It's disadvantage. So my second roll is a 23.
That's some good disadvantage there,
The
Juice.
first one was a crit. So, all right. So that's a 23 because it's a plus 14 to hit. And that is 2d6 slashing damage from the whip for 5.
Like a
13
Baylor
point-
whip?
Yes.
You have killed
13,
you have killed Nas that leg.
13 points of damage kills the dog.
Yes.
Oh, does it?
Yes.
Can I roll? I guess I won't even roll the fire damage.
It's
Goes
now
up.
nod at leg.
So you guys see this whip come slashing out this portal at the wolf that's gnawing on the bulbous light. And before the wolf can go and leap at it again, this whip grabs it around the throat, pulling it, smacking the body off of this orb and into the portal. And your wolf is gone. And that's it for this turn for the Baylor. All right. Next is Bravilion.
I'm gonna hold thought with them because I think I moved myself in the order.
Okay. Well, you're fine. You can always go based on your initiative.
All right. I will hold until he goes. How about that?
Okay, that's fine. Thim?
Oof. Okay, so I'm like 50 feet out from this Baylor, and the Baylor is... Damn. How close is the nearest orb from me?
If you're 50 feet out from the Baylor, I would say about 30 feet.
About 30 feet. Okay. Do I think that? So no, I'm going to cast invisibility on myself,
Okay.
and I'm going to go. You can laugh all you want, and I'm going to go run up and grab one of the orbs.
Okay.
This does drop the fairy fire though, just so everybody knows.
Okay. Do a strength check on the orb.
Really, I have a -1 to strength. Are you sure you want to do that?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I hope you rolled really well.
All right, I'm going to use the lion's blue and gold or silver die, and I'm cocked. So let's do that again with a whopping 2 for a -1.
You don't have any more of those
No, I had 2.
Ah, dang. So you feel a jolt when you grab it that pulls you to hold on to it. Make a Constitution check.
17.
All right, so you're able to pull your hands off of this orb after feeling drawn to hold on to it still. And you feel this heat coming from the portal. It's hard for you to see into it. Right now it just looks like blue light, but you can feel heat coming through it. And we will go to Bravilion.
Okay, so these dudes, these cultists, they're like summoning still a ritual for this portal?
Yeah, they basically, their energy was being sucked through these orbs into this portal.
Are they chanting?
No. Right now, there's none that are holding on to anything. They're down and out pretty much.
So it's pretty much just the Baylor.
Other than the one that stabbed the other one.
So it's pretty much just just the Baylor and then the orbs.
Yes, the orbs are still working.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to. Oh shit. Do I see them grab an orb and then struggle to pull it off?
You don't.
Yes.
It's invisible.
Oh, I'm sorry. You don't. Nope.
Fuck me. Okay.
I forgot.
I'm sorry. Okay, fine. Well, if I don't see that, then I will run close enough to try to grab an orb.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to try to rip one of these orbs off.
All right, give me a strength check.
Yeah, no problem. Not a problem at all. Not a cleric or anything. No, it's fine. Straight roll. Here we go. I would like to use another orb because I got a 5 with no modifiers. Can I use one, GM?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So I go to pull this thing down, and I guess I can't, so I squeeze one of these things in my bag and try to pull harder for a 16, maybe.
So your first try, you feel this jolt, and you pull your hands off. Your second try, you do it. You're like, I gotta man up, and you grab it and lift it up. Do me a favor, give me a Constitution save.
Yeah, no problem. That's a 2 plus plus a 1. That's a total of 3.
Okay, so the good news is you have this off of the thing. The bad news is you're going to take terrible lightning damage.
Okay, it's fair.
Where's my D8? Okay.
As Bravilion takes this damage, you just hear him cursing in like this foreign language loudly. Probably Vladimir, you may be the only one that recognizes it because I've shared some of these curse words with you from my faraway home of Arsenova. So yeah.
So the lightning pulses through your body and into the ground as you break the lightning connection from the orb to the portal. You take 10 points of damage, and the portal shrinks.
The orbs! Grab the orbs, my friends! It hurts a lot, but grab him anyways. A lot.
All right. Howls at Moon.
So, kind of taking a step back real quick. I imagine given the fog she had summoned, all she would have seen of the flaming whip was just a bright orange flicker through the fog, and then the death whine of Gnaws at Leg. And at that sound, she was knocking an arrow at the time. She stops, and she looks into the fog, and her mouth opens slightly. She says, "Koala?" And she lowers the bow, and as she does so, the fog begins to slowly disperse. And she says it again, "Koala!" And she's calling to the wolf, because that's his name in Elvish. "Koala! Koala!" And as she keeps shouting that again and again, the fog completely disperses, and all she sees is the soot and the blood of the death place of Gnaws at Leg, of Koala. And she stares at it for more than 6 seconds, for several heartbeats. She's just looking at it, because this is the last thing she had of her tribe. Her people are gone. Her way of life was gone. She's been living as a guide for 15, 20 years now with nothing left except for Vladimir and the party. And the last thing she had was Gnaws at Leg. And Gnaws at Leg is now dead. And as she's looking at it, the bow slips from her hands, and the arrow too. And as they clatter against the hard soil, she reaches down to her side, and she grabs the hilt of both short swords, and she explodes into motion, crying and singing and howling the death chant of her people, the same death chant that they would sing when they were facing an enemy that they knew would kill them, but they knew they could not turn away from. And drawing both short swords, she throws herself at the one thing she knows will hurt this damn destroying monster in the portal, and that's that one sphere that no one's touched yet. And still crying, still howling, she throws herself at it and makes 2 attacks on this thing. It's again and again, 2, 3, 4, 5, swinging with all of her might until her limbs are weak to destroy the thing that destroyed the one love she had left in her life.
Wait, so you just ran into the portal?
No, she's running at the orb to destroy the orb.
Oh, at the orb. Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. I was like, whoa, yeah. Okay.
All right, let me go ahead and roll for that. So that's going to be, for the first one, only a 10. So not a 10. It's going to be a 12 and then an 18 to hit the orb.
Yep, both hit.
All right. And then that's going to be 9 and 8. So 17 points of damage on the orb.
So your first hit definitely cracks it, and you feel this boost of energy, almost like it got stronger. But the second one shatters it and lets go of all the energy and shuts off. There's only one active orb left, and this portal has shrunk to the size of a tall man. And with that,
on me, I get it.
With that, we will jump over to Vlad.
Vladimir will take that crown and he rakes it across the orb one more time, taking the cultist that's still in his control and forcing him towards the portal. There'll be this like sucking sound as the cultist enters the portal, knife in hand, to go challenge the Baylor.
As he gets near the portal, it sucks him in, and you just hear this, and just screaming for a few seconds like a man caught on fire.
Well, on the bright side, that might have distracted the Baylor for a second. Feeling that the disconnection of the spell and that the metal crown in his palm falls apart and kind of goes back to being a gauntlet again. He runs his hand over the orb, and all those like furrows that have been buried into that orb kind of smooth over. He begins going towards the one active orb, and he's just going to use his movement for that.
Okay. Father Zev.
I'm going to try to decipher that page that I just created.
All right, go ahead. Arcana check.
Arcana. Okay. Let's see what I get this time.
Roll above a, what do I have?
Oh
19?
Boy. That's I got an 18 on it.
No good. You're off by 1. I was going with the CR level of it.
What's had a point of inspiration left, Andrew?
No, yeah.
Well,
don't have any
What I'm gonna do though, because I can't tell what it is, and then this is where it's gonna get really bad. You guys are gonna hate me. I'm gonna tear the page out and put it in my pocket and act like I didn't recreate it.
It's all good.
Alright.
Nobody was watching him.
With that, it is my turn. So right now I have a couple people near the orbs, correct? I have what?
Maybe,
3?
possibly.
Four.
He has 4 of us. Well, all
Okay.
hands with Zev.
Yep. So okay. So Thim, you're going to be a 1 through 5.
Okay.
Bravilion, 6 through 10.
Remember, I am invisible if they're going on site.
Yep. Vladimir, you're going to be 11 through 15, and Howls at the Moon is up to 20. I rolled a 1, and because you're invisible and it's a crit fail, I will give you the benefit of the doubt, and he does not attack you. But the Baylor's head starts poking through the portal, and you guys just see fire, and the amount of heat. If you guys have ever been really close to like 20-foot pyro at a concert or anything, it feels like you're about 10 feet away from that. And it's just almost melting your face. Not to the point where it hurts, but you can feel just heat. And with that, it is Bravilion's turn.
Yeah, there's only one orb left, so seeing that worked, I am just going to lunge as hard as I can and sprint over to the last one, grasp it with all my might, and just yank with everything I have.
Can I use my reaction to assist since I'm right there?
Yes, but I want you guys to make a wisdom save first.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay. This one
I can do wisdom. That one's easy.
There you go.
If I don't get it, let's use the dice roller.
11 plus 5, 16?
You feel this, you hear this voice in your head, both of you, saying, grab the orb.
That's what we're trying to do.
That's exactly what I was thinking. So,
And it almost feels like it wants you to just hold the orb. But you're able to push through and do your strength check to lift it up. You're lifting it up, you said?
yeah, I mean, I'm going to grab it. I mean, I'm already holding one. I'm going to kill myself. But I'm seeing the portal shrinking thing. This is a great idea. I'm going to grab I'm holding one orb. I'm going to grab the second one and try to rip it off the altar as well.
Okay. And he's assisting you. So you get advantage.
I probably don't even realize it. So hearing this voice grab the orb, I may even think that it's Kellenvor speaking about bringing the balance back to this Iron Forest. And I have a +0, so 15.
Oh, yeah, you lift it. Now the con save.
Yeah, okay. Why always on the con save? 4.
All right. You get to hurt you a little bit. Yeah, not much. 4 points.
Okay.
So you are able to lift this orb, and with that is the 4th orb, and the bolt like jolts through you, and the portal closes, but not before the Baylor's head gets ripped off as it's stuck in the portal. Now, you guys are screwed. It has death throws as a special ability. Any creature within 30 feet must make a DC 20 Dex save.
Fuck.
Did I mention I have a 0 dexterity?
You're probably screwed even if you make it.
You actually field man.
Zev is still at 3.
You said it was DC what again?
Zips up
20?
on this. Zips up on
I got a
that. Look at that
17.
rocket laughing at us all dying.
Here we go. +2. 8. That wasn't even close. It wasn't even fucking
I
close.
had a 2. That's one of the numbers. Does that count for anything?
Since I just have advantage, I'm just going to flat out ask for it.
You didn't want it. You were the first one to set it down.
Actually,
Well, you know, man.
I started that bad idea train.
Did you?
Since I'm holding Marquise's last advantage or inspiration point, I'd like to use it.
You
Yeah, go
bastard.
for it.
Give it to me.
You can go for it.
Also an 8.
None of you succeeded?
I got a 22.
Oh, 22. Okay, so one person's taking half. The rest are taking full. So I did the dice app.
To kill.
I hope this works.
As long as it is less than 28 points of damage,
Something or
I'm
other.
alive.
Oh, is it really not going to work for me? All right, someone who has the dice app.
I've been rolling.
Do me a
You
favor.
guys want me to do it?
Yes. Put in 20 D6
Are you?
fire damage.
Fuck
Why?
you, Juice. Okay? Fuck you, man.
Look at Angie's face right now. This shit-eating grin he has way back in the woods reading this book.
I mean, because he has the secret ingredients for a Baylor bomb right in his pocket.
Exactly why you don't get in combat.
Father Zev has done jack shit in this encounter, and he gets to walk away free.
Tim is officially dead. Beyond dead.
So what's the total? Does it say a total, or do you have to actually add it?
I think we actually have to add it.
No, don't tell him. Don't tell him. Make him at it.
Let Juice add this. And see if he knows all.
31, 34, 37, 47, 56, 65, 69, 71, 74, 76 points.
So how do I freaking roll above 75% when every other roll I had tonight has been shit?
I just want to point out that Marquise threw this out 11 minutes into the game. 1 TPK later.
Yeah,
There's no
one-
TPK.
I'm still at 1. It's fine. I'm still at 1. It says right here. I'm at 1 life. It's fine.
I was gonna say technically we get death saving throws, so we might come
Nah,
back.
because if it does an amount equal to your full HP, you die instantaneously.
It has to, yeah. So it would have to take you below 0 the amount that would be your full HP.
Oh,
I'm dead.
I'm triple. Yeah,
What
that's
was the
You're
total?
dead. What about
I'm dead.
Vlad?
What was the total?
76, I think.
76, so 45, 48 damage
No, it'd be less than that.
for the half?
It's
38.
38.
38.
Oh, 38. No, I'll be able to make death saving throws.
All right.
I hope you slowly die.
All right, just make 3 in a row.
So the good news is,
If I hear it, I might go investigate.
I backed up my critical success with a critical failure on the death saving throws.
Oh, -2.
Wait, you might come in. How did you not hear everything else Father Zev that was going on? It was very loud over here.
If I hear this big fire blast now that I know I can't use the book, I might go check it out. And I've got some shit that could save him.
You can see the light.
I imagine that Father Zev was like reading the book. He hears the explosion. He looks up. He's like, "Huh? What? Oh, Jesus!"
It's
Yeah.
like, it's like 300 pounds of dynamite just go off. It's like, oh, wait, they were fighting over there.
Boy, Zev has done it again. Better golden spect.
Like he finishes reading the page literally 4 seconds later after he rips it and puts it in his pocket. Just huge flames through the forest that made it was really hard for him to see before. He was probably using magical light of some sort. But now like the forest is a silhouette with flames behind it. By the way, did you make your saves or are you dead?
I'm doing it right now.
Okay.
I've made 1 critical fail, 1 success so far.
Well, I might be able to get to him before he needs to make the final save.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah.
How far away is he?
You know what? Just roll really high. If you roll a really high D20, I say you get there. So 18 or higher.
Oh boy, Zev has done it again.
And you're going to get a chance every turn.
Okay. That's a 19 on the first roll.
Oh, dude, you sprint through these woods after seeing the fire. And you see your friend on fire, on the ground. Actually, all of them are on fire. But one of them is writhing in pain.
Vol, no, what have I done? I've betrayed you, my lord. And I'll run over and cast Cure Light Wounds on him.
So in other words, you start dousing him with some honey mead.
Oh, yeah.
I imagine he pulls out like a flask and just pours out the flask over me.
That's, with my Disciple of Life, that's 16 hit points on the first one.
There you go.
That's almost all the way up for me because I'm just a warlock.
Yep, and I'll keep healing him with all my spell slots too. If it keeps going, I'll get him full. And I'll like kneel down and say, "Oh no, what has happened to Vladimir? I sat down at 3 because my legs hurt and my back hurt, and now everyone is dead."
Yes.
That's it. Just yes.
Yeah. He Vladimir finally gets up and he says, "They gave their lives to stop this thing," and he'll point at the beheaded or the Baylor head that's just kind of like plopped out on the ground.
It's basically a skull at this point because the flame has been extinguished.
I'll reach into my bag and pull the book out from the same spot the last time, or the last place you saw me put it. They'll say, "This is too dangerous of a book. Must be destroyed."
I agree. And Vladimir kind of gets up and he pulls out his worn tome. He says, "You can throw this in the fire too."
It is for best friend. And using like the fire of their corpses, I'll burn the book and his book, but I'll keep the page.
I love it. All right.
Oh, I just want to point out, if I would have been in wolf form still, I would have at least survived and been in death saving throws right now.
Oh, I can save him then too. I would.
Yeah, but he wasn't in wolf form. You would save him if he had been in wolf form, but he was not.
Oh, you weren't in wolf form, so it doesn't save you. I gotcha.
That's like when I was a barbarian and I fought a mimic and I forgot my rage gave me resistance.
Yep. You know,
that
jackass
or-
remembered that.
It's like that time I fought a Baylor and it got decapitated and it instantaneously killed me with his death throws.
Dude, you know what? I will always remember this character death. I will always remember this character death. Son of a bitch.
I was fairly certain when you pulled both orbs that was going to be it for you.
I figured I'd go down, right? And then I should have known because I heard Juice over there like, oh, do you pull that one too, man? Hey, man, do you pull that one too with the Baylor? Oh.
So, you know, like, I was really waiting for you to, like, delay once again because I was going to freaking thunder wave it off to knock it off the pedestal.
Dude,
No.
think about this. If we would have waited one more round, maybe the whole Baylor would have come out and it wouldn't have been a death saving throw. It would have just been us being murder faced by a Baylor.
Question for you, Juice. Once me and Vladimir part ways and go back into town, can I use mending to recreate the book around the page?
Yeah, if you want, technically by the rules you can.
Excellent. Very good.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to like kind of fast forward and let the surviving members explain how either the rest of their lives lived out or at least the immediate future if you want. So we'll start with let's see. I have a feeling Zev's got some interesting things up his sleeve. I'm sure Vladimir does too, but let's start with Vladimir and then Zev, you can do your closing.
Vladimir just continues his quest, and he will have the unfortunate, like, it shows kind of like a montage where it shows like Vladimir going on quests with these new friends and all of them dying, and Vladimir somehow makes it out alive each time. And like you see him go through with like 8 adventuring parties to where it's just him and a bunch of battle scars by the time it's done.
Awesome. Zev.
You see Zev in a cloistered monastery, and it's like really dark, and he's working by candlelight, and he has one of those fancy calligraphy pens. And you see just like hanging all over the walls for like maybe the past months or even beyond that, he's been tearing out the page and just recreating books and recreating pages. And there's just these diagrams hanging everywhere. And I will go and contact the Anvil Ringers and slowly but surely sell them Baylor pages back for money. They wonder, where do the Baylor pages keep coming from? They do not know, but I keep having them.
Nice. Now Zev is going to have to become canon in my setting as this evil thing. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, okay. So, with that, if you guys want to plug your channels one last time or any of that, you can. We'll start where we just left off. So, Joker, go ahead.
Yep, thanks for the game, man. SRT Joker on YouTube. Check out all these fine gentlemen's channels. They'll plug themselves, but it's definitely worth doing so. And check out the RPG One Shot group.
Awesome. And Brian.
So no channel to plug, but I just want to say we're going to fade on, after credits roll. It's Thim's town. They're the ones that sent him out for adventure, and they find out that Thim died. And while they're all kind of sad that they sent him to his death, they're all kind of glad that he's actually not going to be shaman because the guy makes horrible choices in life. And so, it shows like 20 years later, and this small badger tribe has now turned into a monstrous metropolis. There we go, if I can speak.
Awesome. Taking 20.
I'm not going to plug my channel. Go check it out. But guys, seriously, oh my gosh, what a fun time. I am so happy that I had an opportunity to hang out with you guys and meet you guys and game with you guys. Seriously, this was some of the most fun I've had playing as a character in a very long time. So thank you guys for having me, Juice. Thanks for running this game. It was super fun. Tons of laughs. I had a blast tonight, guys. That's all I want to say.
Awesome. Thanks, man. Thanks. Drop Dice.
Yeah, same thing, man. Thanks for running. It's always good to be able to play, and it's been a while since you and I have gotten together for anything, so that was good to be back at a table with you again. Drop Dice is the channel. Check it out. If you have any comments or things like that, I get back to my subscribers as quickly as I can because I like to encourage the conversation. So if you do see the videos, take it as an encouragement to comment.
Awesome. Sorry, I'm reading the comments at the same time. So hashtag fix mending. Let's make that meme go global. With that, we'll jump over to Stereotypical Strider.
It was a very fun game. Back when I used to run a lot of games in the OSG, people would always complain that I was killing all my players. I was like, you know what? It's a fun thing to be killed. And now that I've been killed again, this time by Juice, I feel like it's not so fun to be killed. So at the end of the day, I'm gonna say I learned a lesson, but I don't learn my lessons. So good game, Juice. I appreciate it. Can't wait to watch this back and talk shit about it.
What's really funny, by the way, is after Juice's last Orc Zero game, he asked for player feedback, and my feedback to him was make it more lethal, and then I avoided the last fight.
Right.
I'll be sending you pictures of my testicles in the mail, Andrew. Just be on the lookout for those.
Oh, man, he's serious. He's doing snail mail on you.
I love it. Awesome. Well, thank you. I had a blast. I always have fun when I kill a bunch of players at the end of a game, especially one-shots. But yeah, hopefully these fine gentlemen will let me I love it, Andrew. Nice. I will take their legends and put them in the history books to tell all my players in the future and all that good stuff. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.
We have some demon lords coming up at Fun for All. If you want to join in, I can gladly kill your ass with whatever.
No, that's revenge for you killing me against a mimic.
You killed yourself, okay?
After falling through like 4 sets of webs. That you kept. Nope, you fall again. Nope, you're falling again.
Better saves, Halfling the lick only gets you so far.
Oh man.